these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Hi, welcome to the Mystery Crimecast, everyone. I am Mr. E. I am joined by Mrs. E and Auntie. How's everyone doing today?
I'm great.
Good. You got your hair done today, right?
I did. I was hurrying back, so it's a little different than normal, but yes.
Well, I appreciate you, coming back to hop on here with us. And thank you for everybody being patient with us there. I apologize for that. We were just kind of getting some last minute stuff together. We had a plan today to eventually go through the filing with the new defendants that have been added. And I know that some of this was out there as a possibility prior, but we, I guess one of the defendants, he had put the information out, but we just wanted to be sure that it was actually, it actually showed up in the courtroom or in the courthouse dockets and everything online before we read it, essentially. For a couple of reasons. One, we just wanted to verify and make sure that it was actually that it was actually authentic. I don't know SF at all, so I just wanted to be sure that that was accurate that way. And so we're being a little cautious with that. But now that we do now know that that is showing up on the website, so the new defendants are truly defendants at this point and being included in this injunction. So we're gonna read through that. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there. I love reading the court documents. Stuff like that is a lot of fun to me. You learn something every time you do this, and I think it'll be interesting to everybody. But let's say hi to everyone. I appreciate everybody hopping on here kind of last minute. I know we don't usually go this time of day, so maybe that'll work better for some of our Australian friends and the UK and such. I'm not sure how those timelines will work out. I know we missed
my
the
microphone
UK.
at all. I wasn't even paying attention.
But maybe it'll work out better for some of those folks in Belgium and Australia and Seashore Annie and people like that our normal time slot does not work well for them. But so yeah, it looks like a lot of you are interested in this. And if you're kind of new to this part or haven't caught a couple of the lives we've done recently, just so everyone's familiar with what's been going on here, what happened a couple of weeks ago is there was a civil Rico suit filed or an injunction filed in Delaware County in Pennsylvania on behalf of 10 plaintiffs, essentially, but really all kind of fueled by that at night team that, Dog the Bounty Hunter, Nik, Seth, and Tony, several YouTubers are all included. The initial two defendants were residents of Pennsylvania. One is Granny's Watching, who's a YouTuber, and then Barbecue Lady, who is really more a personality on TikTok. And there's always been kind of this in that initial filing that we went through, spent several hours kind of going through all the allegations and everything. It alluded to the possibility of another 50 does. And so, of course, there were a lot of speculation about who those people might have been. Many folks were named throughout, but that didn't 100% mean that those people were going to be included. We can kind of guess that several YouTubers and TikTokers would likely be named in that. But so we've got a little more clarity on who might be included in that now with this new filing, and we can verify that. And we're gonna go through that part. We also got some information today and we were trying to verify, make sure that this was all I'll put away too. So we wanted to make sure we had this all accurate before we went on. We're still kind of checking on some things here.
Well, we can say hello to people and welcome some of our new members.
Yeah, if you could. Oh, you want to do that part for me? That'd be great. While I catch up here real quick.
Aunt E, could you work on that for a second?
Sure. We did have a new member. Let me see if I can go back and find her. I think it was Judy the lawyer was a new member. We had a super sticker. Holly S, thank you for the super sticker. Hello to Paula McGillen. We've got Lady Tit for Tat. All of our great mods are here today. Ginger for Ob, thanks for joining us. Wine Time. Helen, Hope in the Shadows. We've got lots of people that I don't new names that I haven't seen, but then some old ones too. Arctic Wolf Angel, Sebastian Strong, absolutely. James C, welcome in. Graham M, thank you. He said we all look beautiful, so thank you so much. Wine Time, welcome in. Good Measure. I saw Car Guy. Bryn Marshall, welcome in. K-Mac, one of our mods, thank you for being here today. Michelle Vincent. I told you I would get that song played for you, Michelle, because you said you love that song. So I'm glad that we got that in today. We needed some extra time during the technical.
Something's going on. Your mic is breaking up really bad. You might want to check your cord.
It's very kind of poppy and snappy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can
That's
you guys
okay.
hear
I
me?
just want to let you know.
How's it doing now?
It's still popping. You may want to unplug and replug in.
Okay, let me try that, and you can pick up where I left off.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be heard. It's just this kind of
popping.
staticky pop going along with it.
I want to welcome our new members, Judy the lawyer, and Casey. Welcome to the Crime Dogs. And Holly S sent us a super sticker, which I was trying to see, but the chat's going by so quickly, I haven't been able to see it.
I just wanted to highlight this real quick. I didn't know this. And Michelle Scott says a huge billboard went up here in Kansas City, Missouri, according to Fox 4 News here, about Sebastian Rogers missing, including international with Dogs Help. That's great. Yeah, so that's fantastic. He could be anywhere in the country, or anyone in the country might have information.
How's my mic sound now?
That is better.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's not popping now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so that's good. And that maybe it was. I don't know if the people could hear that or not, but it was at least in our headsets like that.
Holly S sent us a dog. It's cute.
Thank you, Holly. We appreciate you doing that. And do very much appreciate everyone that is here with us. I see lots of names I recognize. Sorry, we're kind of scrambling here, kind of getting it all ready.
Let's see, where were you at, Aunt E? I see Rogue. I see Pebbles. I see Detroit Rock City. Welcome in. Oh, and I forgot. Georgia Patriot woman has been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support.
So. Well, let's do it. Actually, there's a couple of things I want to do. First, I just want to thank everybody that came out to the vigil this weekend. We met a few of you there, some of you that are in the bushes that are not known entities online, and it was great to meet you all. Met some of the creators. I met CJ Live for the first time, and Busby's True Crime and Narked Divers, and so it was great to meet you all. Of course, we saw Seth and Tony and all kinds of supporters, Bullhorn Betty, and I don't know, maybe 50 or so folks came out for the vigil in the rain. So that the rain part, of course, threw off the motorcycle ride part of it. But we still basically just spent the rest of that time talking with each other and meeting people and just kind of sharing thoughts and experiences and just meeting folks and their stories and why they became attached to the Sebastian disappearance. So, that part of it was actually great. So it kind of, and of course, I'm sure many of you saw the prayer and the speaking and everything else. I don't know how it all played on video, but in person it was very emotional, particularly when Seth got up there. It was very powerful. So it was a great event that way. Despite the rain, it wasn't raining crazy hard. It was just enough to mess up the motorcycle part of it,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading everybody's stuff. Irony Rose, welcome in. Kelsey, welcome in. Breezy, welcome in. Samantha, welcome in. Lady Tit for Tat, of course. Okay. And let's
Hindsight
see.
2002 is here. Rogue, welcome in.
You're still
a
popping.
regular.
You're still
Oh,
popping.
okay.
I mean, bad.
Some people are saying they don't hear the popping, and some are. So if you hear popping, would you let us know, please?
It's so bad that you need to maybe go down and come back up, like unplug all the way for a minute. It's that bad. I can hear it really badly. I'm sorry. Let's see.
Some people are saying they don't hear it at all.
Okay, well, Debbie is saying she can hear it.
Yeah.
Melissa says she hears it.
Okay.
I don't know if your cord's like moving or something when you talk.
It's not at all. It's very stationary.
Well,
it's okay right now.
Yeah, it started to crackle again at the end.
Let me just I can also just go to my mic on my computer. It's not as good, but
that's interesting. About half the people are saying they hear it and half don't. So
I can really hear it.
Yeah, I can definitely hear it.
It's going to bother me.
Okay, let me go off and I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, while she's doing that, I want to say thank you so much, Rockin' Rhonda. And she says, moving on up with the ease for 3 months. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you, Rockin' Rhonda.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. And I saw Nana's Dragonfly in here. Welcome, Nana. And Sarah's Suspicion and Ginger for Ob. Ginger for Ob, I mailed out your prize today along with K-Max. So a couple days behind on that, but I got that mailed out to you from our trivia night. And
yes, we got that all done. So those should be on the way in a couple of days.
And War Eagle's been a member for 1 month and says, hello, Sebastian's Army. Awesome. Thank you, War Eagle. We appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you, Eagle. We do appreciate that.
And let's see. I was going to wait for her to come back, but if you want to go ahead and get started.
Well, I think what might be best would be let's start because we're still kind of waiting just to confirm some stuff on barbecue. So let's start with what we were planning anyway, which was the Queen Bee filing. So you may have seen some of this before, and the reason that we're covering this at all actually is not, there are various lawsuits that happen with YouTubers out there. We don't cover all of that. But this is directly relating to the case because it involves investigators. It involves one of the parents. In the original filing, the other two parents are also named at different times throughout. And so this does have a very real impact on what could happen with awareness and the searching and investigating going forward, depending on how all of this plays out. And of course, it's been a hot topic of debate. There's a lot of arguments being made by both sides. I've listened to some of that from Granny's Watching, kind of getting her perspective and such. And of course, we've all been kind of waiting to see who these other defendants are going to be. I'm sure the various YouTubers that suspect they may be getting subpoenas and such are also curious. But we can confirm a few things that have happened. We now can confirm that Granny's Watching has been served.
That's correct.
That's just recently happened. And I'm not sure what the delay on that was, but somehow that happened sometime in the last few days. She's confirmed.
I believe herself. On Friday.
Oh, that was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if that happened Friday, my understanding is that we would have a hearing about what would it be 20 days after for her to respond.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure now that there's more people added.
Yeah, that's possible. So we know that. So we do know that. Yeah, this is something if we get a chance to talk to Lesniak, I want to ask: are these going to be multiple hearings based on when people got their subpoenas? So how does that work? Does it just kind of all get pushed out further and further to one big hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Will there be kind of stages of hearings? I just don't know. But that's something I hope we get a chance to ask him.
Yes, and we are trying to get Mr. Lesniak to come back on the show and give us some clarity on all this stuff. Irony Rose has been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much, Irony Rose. And she says, love all you bring to the table here. Thank you.
Thank you, Irony. We do appreciate it.
And then also, Hope in the Shadows. Gypsy Nielsen says, thank you for your dedication to fact. Triple E's. And that's sweet.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you.
I like Hope in the Shadows. I don't know. That's a nice name too. I like that.
Can you tell if I'm any clearer or not?
Good so far.
It's a lot better. Yeah, I think so. I think we're good.
Okay.
I think it just needed to come out and come in. I mean, I don't understand the technology. So
Well, it's weird
sound-
because Granny is listening and she said there was absolutely no popping. I sounded clear as a bell. So,
well, we can't trust Granny. And
I
when
know.
we say Granny, don't get confused out there in YouTube
I
land.
know.
We mean grand letter E,
I
Gran
know.
E,
I-
our
we've-
mom.
we've got to come up with a new nickname for Granny or something so that we there's no
Granny
confusion.
Granny EE.
People will be like, how is Granny's watching related to these people?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's not the same one.
no. So
Oh, and one more. SS Butterfly Kisses has been a member for 4 months. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
thank you, Butterfly. We appreciate that very much.
I love the E family. Thank you for being you all. Sorry.
She might like that. Here's a suggestion: the
The
Grand E.
Oh,
The
I
Grand
kind of
E.
like
That's
that.
nice.
The
she'll-
Grandy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I
that's
like
good.
that.
But it is kind of confusing. And I think, we started calling her Gran E a long time ago before we realized Granny is watching
Yeah, and then-
existed.
and
So
then there's
I
a-
don't want to confuse people.
So do we want to start? So let's start with this
Yeah,
filing.
I'm still waiting on confirmation on some stuff. So yeah.
So what is where we're at
Oh,
basically is
Let me get that one up. Sorry, I wasn't ready. You go ahead.
okay. I want to grab my water anyway.
Auntie, you can talk to people. for
Yes.
just a minute.
Let's see. SRK9 Mom. Good to see you. The Real Me Too. Also good to see you. I don't know if Mrs. Eve mentioned you, but hello. Heather, hello. Ty Bay Lux, Opinionated. Welcome in, Kelsey. Criminal Med.
Oh, you're wanting to pull up the.
I was
I
going to
gotcha.
pull up the actual document for you, but if you'd rather just read it, that's fine. I don't care.
Well, I'm
Well,
just
some
going to say.
people were asking if there was anywhere they could follow along, so maybe we should put it up.
Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. So basically, part of the reason is I had to pick the kids up from school, and he
And
was waiting on me to start
I
the
don't-
stream.
One of the things we do try to do is not include addresses and things like that in here. When I go start reading this, I'm going to refer to everyone by their YouTube name for a couple of reasons. One is just because it's how everybody knows them anyway, and their real names might be more confusing, but also partly to just do our best to protect people. So on plaintiffs and defendants, we're going to not use their real names as much as possible. I occasionally have made a mistake and said a name, but there's some people out there that are outrageous, and you just never know. So we do our best to try to not put their addresses and things like that out there, even if they are listed in these legal documents. But I don't think this had street addresses for homes in here. I don't remember seeing that when I read through it the first time. So I think we're okay on that, but I'll keep an eye out for that anyway. But of course we do have names, and SF Investigates, he uses his real name, but I'm still going to refer to him as SF Investigates. Anyhow, so where we are at is basically the an injunction has been filed. The first two defendants have now been served, so there's a little bit of a clock that starts there with their time to respond. Now that two others have been added in Pennsylvania, I don't know if that restarts that clock. So there's I think they have 20 days, if I remember correctly, to respond. And then the hearing is supposed to be, I believe, 30 days after they were served. So if there aren't any additions made, I think we theoretically would have a hearing, I guess sometime around early to mid-December, probably. That's what it looks like. And
I'm just having all kinds of problems. Just give
yeah,
me a
having
second.
trouble?
Just a little. Just give me 1 more minute.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's got a
We've
lot open on my computer.
Well, since
Kay Kelly was wondering where they can find a copy of the litigation or the Rico. It is on that county's website. Mrs. E did know the name of it, but I'm not exactly sure what county it is.
Oops. Hold on.
it is Delaware County.
Delaware
in
County.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
It'll be on their court system web pages for anything that's been filed for court orders.
Yeah. And the court kind of updates this stuff at their whenever they get to it and update it. And it was just today I guess they got this in there, even though
We had Lisa said, and what does any of this have to do with finding Sebastian?
Well, a lot. It has because the allegation is that the searchers and investigators, reporters are receiving death threats, being scared off, harassment, and that false evidence has been inserted into the story by various individuals. So quite a bit, false leads, fake tips, flooding phone lines, things of that nature. Because every time a fake piece of evidence is inserted somewhere, a detective, a TBI agent, an FBI agent has got to go through it and follow it, even if it's fake. So that slows down the investigation. And there's a few allegations, I believe, of fabricated evidence within this. Not specifically maybe these two individuals, but amongst the 50. I suspect that's going to be part of the situation. Death threats, of course, are just unacceptable. I know there's always skepticism on that. I always have skepticism on death threats too. How severe were the threats? Were they veiled threats? Do they exist at all? All of that. I get that. But of course, we also do have people that have signed sworn affidavits under potential penalty of perjury. So we do have that is evidence to a certain degree. And then, of course, they also provided their video evidence of all of this and the various quotes, and 60 some odd pieces of evidence went along with that original filing. But if you can't have people investigating and searching and having fake evidence inserted, it could delay justice for Sebastian or even finding him at all, if he is alive. And I think the way to approach this is that he is alive. Every day he's out there, he's in danger, because he might be alive today, but maybe not in a month from now if someone gets scared and thinks they're about to be caught. So time is of the essence. There's no there is a sense of urgency, or should be. So all these delays don't help.
I thought Eric had an interesting perspective. He said, sounds like you are recirculating rumors. Has TBI confirmed that they have had the runaround? Death threats reports actually made to police?
There's definitely been death threats.
Yeah, there's definitely been death threats. And
I think some of the evidences in this case show that.
Well, we've been following this case for 8th month, so I've seen several situations where there's been fake evidence online, on various platforms, people pretending to be people they aren't, calling into shows and pretending to be witnesses to things where they're not authentic people or who they claim to be. I mean, there's been a lot like that, actually. So it's a list of all of this. That's why we try to, as much as possible, not to push rumor here. That's part of what our mission has been if we hear, the example I always give of a rumor that was the pressure washer thing on about that was rumored about we never bought that. We never pushed that.
Right.
Because we couldn't verify it. It was one story from an anonymous source. And our standard here is an anonymous source that we can't verify. That's not good enough for us. We need multiple sources. That's why we didn't even cover the timeline stuff out in Memphis, because we only had the one anonymous source that Bullhorn Betty had about him not being on that crane until 7 and being kicked off at 11. Well, that wasn't good enough for us. Now, when we had multiple sources, one from Facebook and then also different sources that Silver on the Scene had, okay, that becomes stuff that we could report. So that's kind of our standard. That's where we try to draw the line to try to stay as fact-based as possible.
And I just want to remind people that are new here that it is okay to have a different opinion, but it is not okay to be rude to other people in chat and be rude to your presenters.
Yeah,
so
we don't mind being questioned about things at all. That's
right.
great. If you're respectful, that's great. You're totally welcome.
And he was asking a follow-up question. He said, I agree about the stuff you've seen, but have you seen affidavits of death threats, interferences, etc.? Wasn't capping on you. You guys are great.
Oh, I didn't take offense to it. I think I was just trying to answer the question. But I agree with you. I am skeptical on death threats. To me, if I hear anyone say they have received a death threat, I go, let's wait and see. I go, well, maybe. That's my response every time. we'll see.
There was, I mean,
Possibly.
the Cajun Navy did come out publicly and said that they received threats, and that's why they pulled out. I mean, that was said publicly in an interview, and then someone else also, CJ had an issue, and there was someone else too that pulled out because of it.
I don't blame people for being skeptical. I'm skeptical.
Right.
Also.
We are skeptics, all of us.
I think I've heard about 50 people, 40 people, I don't know, something like that, claim death threats at different times. I suspect all of them are not true. Some of them are. I don't blame you for being skeptical on them, but that's what the court will look at. So I'm assuming this evidence will be presented to the court, whatever police reports and all of this, what recordings, emails, things of that'll play out in court. So we'll see. They're alleging that if they're alleging death threats in the complaint, then theoretically they're going to have to present that evidence when time comes around, right?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. This is a motion. What happens in court will be much in further detail. So, yeah, this is just a motion. This is just a summary of what's going to what they're claiming. So they'll have to prove it in court.
Sure. So then we'll know, right? I mean, then we'll know if there's been a police report made or an email sent or a recorded phone call and those kinds of things. So we'll see. I mean, a lot of this we're going to have to see how it plays out.
Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches has been a member also for 4 months, and she says thank you for all you do. And you know what? Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much for everything. You've been an awesome supporter, and we really appreciate you. Sorry, I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Then Reality reminded me, Uvalde also claimed, Reality Wintelow reminded me that Uvalde Foundation was also threatened.
Oh, I remember Mr. Petito was too, and that's why he chose not to go on Seth's interview that evening on YouTube.
Well, I believe his foundation was threatened. I don't know about personally.
There were threats made to his foundation.
And he did say that on Justin on TikTok, who's changed his name to Justin the Nick of Crime. He did confirm that.
Yeah, and actually that'd be pretty solid evidence too, because Petito doesn't really have an axe to grind in this. I mean, he's not involved in this in any way, so he's kind of a pretty good witness to that. So if he comes in and he says, "Yes, this happened," I mean, he doesn't really have a lot of motivation to just make that up, especially when he was planning to go on the YouTube show with Seth and backed out last minute when that all happened. Right. So if that comes down to that, I suppose he could do an affidavit and provide the evidence that occurred. That could happen. But anyway, so all of the, but the point is, we're not going to litigate the whole thing. I mean, if you read that 83 pages, right, it's like every paragraph's a new allegation. That's one of the things I thought about, just going through and seeing how many allegations are actually made. It's got to be a few hundred. They're going to have to go through almost paragraph by paragraph. It's a different, like a form of harassment or fraud or whatever it is, all these different things. I don't know how long that'll take for the judge to even hear it all. If it's, can they do that in a week? Or I have no idea. I have no idea how long it would take.
Get a confirmation.
Okay.
That's our confirmation. Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. So anyway, but it's interesting. I mean, and this is an interesting topic. There's a lot of just kind of good, interesting points of discussion, I think. At what point do you interfere in an investigation by covering it? Where are our limits on free speech? This is something we talked about with Bullhorn Betty. Obviously, there are some limits to free speech. When does it, where is that line between criticism and harassment and, and all of that? And, the law's complicated and each state has their own laws.
I think everybody's anxious for us to get started, and you don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to cut you off there. And I'm also going to remind everybody one other thing I forgot. If you don't have something nice to say about a creator, don't say it at all, please, because it will be deleted. Because we, no matter how you feel about the people involved, it's best, unless you have something nice to say, don't say anything.
Right. Nice, neutral, or please just don't, because we don't want to get into it's all.
Now, legitimate questions are fine, but just don't be hateful.
Yeah, the insulting and things of that nature. We just really like to stay away from that. So anyway, here is the motion. This is now showing up on the website, and it's plaintiff's motion for leave to amend complaint and join additional defendants. So this is I'm gonna start right here at the introduction.
Okay, sorry. I've got what I have is the introduction up on the screen, so you can
Perfect,
just
so-
go right ahead and read it.
All
So we
right.
printed it out.
Yes. So plaintiffs, by and through their undersigned counsel, respectfully move this honorable court to leave to file an amended complaint pursuant to Pennsylvania Rule of Civil Procedure 1033. This motion seeks to add new defendants, specifically SF Investigates and Queen B, and to include additional factual allegations and causes of action that have arisen since the filing of the original complaint on October 18th, 2024. So that was that big filing on the 18th. Part 2 is procedural history. On October 18th, 2024, plaintiffs filed the original complaint against the defendants, Barbecue Lady and Granny's Watching, alleging causes of action, including defamation, harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, violations of the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act, and related claims. Service of process upon Barbecue Lady has been duly effected. Opposing counsel formally accepted service on behalf of Barbecue Lady in accordance with Pennsylvania RCP 402. Plaintiffs have diligently attempted to serve Granny's Watching. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office has been engaged in effectuate service, and plaintiffs have taken all reasonable steps to ensure timely service consistent with Pennsylvania RCP 402A. So I guess at this point, though, she has been served. So that's, I guess that point is now moot. Despite not yet being formally served, Granny's Watching has publicly acknowledged the lawsuit through multiple online discussions, indicating her awareness of the pending litigation. Plaintiffs report. So is this still in there, or did they this part? Because this doesn't really apply any longer.
I
So-
think it was filed prior to.
Oh, and it took that long to show up.
Yeah.
So, right. So so since it took a few days for this to show up on the court website, this all doesn't really apply any longer, I guess.
Right.
What?
No, go on.
Okay. Despite, plaintiffs request that the court take judicial notice of Granny's Watching public statements acknowledging the lawsuit pursuant to Pennsylvania RE 201. Plaintiffs respectfully request that the court take judicial notice of Barbecue Lady or Granny's Watching public statements and online activities under Pennsylvania RE 201, which allows judicial notice of facts that are not subject to reasonable dispute. Such acknowledgement is pertinent for determining defendant Granny's Watching awareness of this action and any potential attempts to evade formal service, reinforcing the validity of this service process in accordance with procedural due process principles established in Commonwealth versus Zuransky. Then part 3 here. Plaintiffs incorporate by reference all prior paragraphs as if fully set forth with herein. Summary of new allegations. Number 7. On October 18th, 2024, shortly after filing of the original complaint, defendants Barbecue Lady and Granny's Watching appeared on multiple online platforms discussing the lawsuit and soliciting assistance while alleging that they had been improperly silenced. See At Night Media files a lawsuit at Barbecue Lady and at Granny's Watching, but why? Let's Talk Open Panel. I think this is the name of the episode, I guess. YouTube, Queen Bee. Okay, there. So it's just whatever panel they were on. Granny's Watching made statements indicating her intention to continue her conduct, stating, "I'll tell you what, if you think having them file this on your behalf is going to stop me, you just amped me up, because it's not. Not for you, BJ," meaning Brittany Nicole, or Brittany J. There is nothing that they can do, end quote. Granny's Watching has repeatedly discussed the lawsuit publicly, despite claiming she has not been served, demonstrating her awareness and acknowledgement of the pending legal action. So part B of that is clarification on new defendants. Since the initial filing, additional individuals have become involved in actions related to the original claims, including SF Investigates, who identifies as a private investigator, and Queen Bee. SF Investigates has actively inserted himself into this litigation by filing a motion in this court on October 20th, 2024, thereby accepting and submitting to the court's jurisdiction. You might remember him posting about this, I believe he posted about this on Twitter also, and it took a while for that to show up as well. Number 12, under Pennsylvania Rule of Civil Procedure 1028 A and B, objections to personal jurisdiction must be raised at the outset, and failure to do so or participation in the litigation is deemed consent to the court's jurisdiction. Okay, so SF Investigates has made numerous public statements on social media platforms concerning plaintiffs, including allegations that plaintiffs are engaged in wrongful conduct, and has publicly criticized the lawsuit, referring to the plaintiffs as fraudsters and making other disparaging remarks. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 1. So Granny's Watching reached out to SF Investigates for advice on X on October 18th, 2024, despite SF Investigates not being a licensed attorney, indicating coordination among defendants and SF Investigates. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by Granny's Watching is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 2. We going to keep going? Or do you?
What?
I said, are we okay to keep going? Did you?
Yeah. We're
Okay.
Did you?
I was just making sure.
Okay. No, unless you need a break to take a drink or something, everything is fine. I'm honestly, what I'm watching for are addresses and anything that will outside of their names. I'm trying to make sure that doesn't get shown. That's all.
I don't think this had addresses, so I think we're okay on that. But anyway,
I'm just trying to be safe to protect, people, because that's not,
no need to put that out there if we can help it. SF Investigates unswervingly refers to the action as a sham and asserting that the plaintiffs are only seeking an injunction that will fail, in quotes, thereby undermining the legitimacy of the lawsuit, harassment through public disparagement of the plaintiffs' legal actions, and interference with the judicial proceedings by attempting to influence public perception and potentially impact the case. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 3. At 10:57 p.m., SF Investigates posted statements alleging that the plaintiffs are associated with an unlicensed investigator whose license was revoked due to prior criminal conduct and probation restrictions. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 4. He further claimed that this investigator is working remotely for Seth and Tony and implied a closer relationship between them, stating that will come out in discovery also, making unverified and damaging claims, harassment by disseminating negative information, intending to harm the plaintiff's reputations, and a potential invasion of privacy by discussing personal relationships and legal statuses without consent. On October 19th, SF Investigates posted statements predicting that the discovery process in the lawsuit would reveal damaging details about plaintiff Seth Rogers, including serious and unverified accusations of statutory, the R word, in Virginia, which he claimed could still lead to criminal charges. SF Investigates described this potential outcome as a hashtag blessing in disguise and detailed the legal ramifications, including a mandatory prison sentence and offender registration, making severe unsubstantiated criminal allegations, harassment, and emotional distress by causing significant psychological harm, and interference with judicial proceedings by intimidating a plaintiff and discouraging the pursuit of legal action through threats of exposure to criminal charges. True and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 5.
I'm behind. Wait.
Yeah, but number 19?
Oh, no, I'm not behind. Okay.
At 1:56 p.m., SF Investigates posted statements indicating that if he had been named in the lawsuit, he would call a press conference to announce an abusive process and malicious prosecution action against the plaintiff's attorneys, who he referred to as corrupt and bottom feeder media whores. He also expressed support for a GoFundMe and take action against these lawyers, suggesting taking offensive action against the plaintiff's legal representation and potentially interfering with their professional practices. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by Fisher is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 6. A lot of these things with SF Investigates, if you're not on X, that's where he's mostly active. He does come on panel shows occasionally. But if you're kind of wanting to see his position, that's the best place probably is X to find him there.
You want to take a water break and let Aunt E check in with the chat?
I would. I'm going to mute my mic.
Lots of chat.
I'll have to mute us both. So Auntie, you go ahead.
Okay, let's see. We've got Samantha. Hello. Keep up the chatter. Thanks for joining us. Rockin' Rhonda. Lovely Shadow. Hello, Brown Eyed Girl. And Lucas said, honestly, I don't really get all the Rico case stuff. It is very complicated, the Rico case, but it's also very interesting what they're doing with this. Let's see. Hi, James C. Brown Eyed Girl, YouTuber. Have lots of people in the chat. Sorry, I'm switching back and forth because one chat moves faster than the other for me. Let's see. Hi, Mad Mama Bear, Shirley H, Vita Pierce. Hello, Roxy's World. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're so excited to have everybody on today. If you hadn't had a chance, please hit that like and subscribe button if you'd like to be a part of our regular broadcasts, and let us know that you like what we do. We try to keep everything on the up and up, verify our sources, and try to stay as true to our facts as we can at all times. This case has just grown and morphed into a crazy one for sure. But this all does have a lot to do with finding him. So we want to keep Sebastian in the forefront of that. Hi, Foggy Mountain Witch. James C. I think I've said hi to you before. Criminal Med. Let's see. Who else we got in here? Karen S. Hello. I know Detroit Rock City said so many in here. I can't keep up. You're right. It's really hard to keep up with the chat. And Samantha says, we all love you, Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers, all the way to the moon and back. And that is the truth. We do. And we continue to pray for Sebastian every day and hope that he is found very soon. I know that a lot of you wished you could have gone to the vigil. I do too, but I'm kind of far away, so it wasn't feasible for me this time. But I really would have loved to have had the opportunity to join them. It would have been really nice to be able to see that cohesiveness. I know they said it was a really good event. Again, we haven't heard yet when the next one might be or if there will be a next one, but we'll let you know when we do. Let me take Samantha's comment down. And Heather, thank you. Heather says, I want to thank you all for your time and effort in this case and for relaying the facts with us. Thank you so much. That's important to us, is maintaining the facts. We really try hard to verify more than one or two ways. We try to get 2 to 3 sources for all our information before we will share it with you. So
are we back? Can you hear me, Auntie?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
So we were just looking ahead here. We've got some emails coming up, so we're going to avoid putting those on the screen. So what I'm going to do when we hit that section is we're just going to read.
And so that it doesn't show anything.
Because there's no reason to put people's emails out there if we can help that too. So that did not occur to me that would be in there. So, anyway, but we do appreciate everybody being here. If you're just now joining us, we can confirm for sure now that both Queen Bee and SF Investigates are now part of the are going to be part of the suit, or at least are part of the injunction. We'll see what happens going forward. They went up on the court website today. So we were about halfway through that. And we're at the SF Investigates portion of basically the statements and the things he did that drug him or pulled him into this at this point. So at 8:40 p.m. Eastern time, SF Investigates posted that he had completed and was in the process of filing a non-party opposition to motion for injunctive relief and a motion to strike the pleading filed by the plaintiffs, asserting his standing as a Tennessee licensed private investigator against a group he claimed was acting illegally and without authority. He indicated his involvement was for the sake of Sebastian Rogers, stating, invited or not, I am joining this fight, end quote. Potentially interfering with legal proceedings, making defamatory accusations against the plaintiffs, and acknowledging acceptance of the court's jurisdiction by filing motions. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too, and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 7. At 11:19 p.m., SF Investigates posted that his opposition to the preliminary injunction sought by the plaintiffs was available through a Dropbox link, stating that Sebastian Rogers deserves far better than what we are seeing from the team assembled by his own father. Potentially interfering with legal proceedings by publicly sharing legal documents, making defamatory implications of incompetence or negligence against Seth Rogers' team, and continuing a pattern of public harassment toward the plaintiffs. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 8. So on October 20th, 2024, SF Investigates posted that his opposition was aimed specifically at challenging the request for preliminary injunctive relief, not dismissing the entire complaint, but expressed that he wanted the complaint to proceed as it would purportedly lead to criminal charges against Seth Rogers. He reiterated unsubstantiated accusations of S crimes, stating that R-ists and S offenders should not walk freely, and encouraged journalists to confront Seth with these allegations constituting defamation, harassment, and emotional distress, and incitement by amplifying harmful claims and urging public confrontation. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 9. SF Investigates posted accusations that Nik had threatened and intimidated critics in the Sebastian Rogers case, claiming that Nik's statements about obtaining user account data were false and accusing his lawyers of enabling these lies. Fisher also alleged that the plaintiff's team was financially unstable, noting that Nik lives with his mom and owes over $5 million in judgments, and in quotes, Dog reportedly owes $1 million in back taxes, suggesting they could not afford travel expenses. These statements are alleged to constitute defamation by accusing Nik and the plaintiff's lawyers of lying and engaging in illegal activities, harassment through personal attacks, and interference with economic relations by potentially damaging their professional and personal reputations. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 10. Then at 11:52, SF Investigates posted that he had filed the final version of his opposition to At-Night's request for a preliminary injunction in the Sebastian Rogers case, noting revisions from the prior version and providing a link to proof of filing, ultimately demonstrating acceptance of jurisdiction. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 11.
Okay.
So now we're into
the section that has some email addresses and stuff. So we're not going to show that on the screen. And let's see. And while you're doing that, I'm going to start dinner for the kids because you don't need me to scroll, correct?
Oh, I guess not, right?
Okay.
Are there any comments or anything you want to highlight before I go on, Auntie?
No, I think not at this time. I don't think
right.
most people are just, just can't believe that the length that, that these evidences point to, or these claims point to what they've done.
Yeah. Well, I always thought those accusations, the P word kind of stuff, those kind of accusations, that's I always thought that was going to be a problem for people, because it's just you just have to be careful with those kind of accusations,
Right. And some people are just wondering how he even got affiliated with the case if he was not requested. Did he just insert himself into the case? Those kinds of things. People are just questioning that.
To my knowledge, he hasn't directly answered that question. He may have somewhere, but I don't know if he's been hired or is working pro bono. I mean, he did a search with the Proudfoots, so there's been at least some working in cooperation with them. I'm just not exactly sure, what that is. I mean, a lot of PIs do pro bono work on cases they feel passionate about, so that's not unusual if that's the case. But I really don't know how that happened. But regardless, that this is why that they're pulling him to Pennsylvania. Or at least they're going to try to. So at 1:10 a.m., SF Investigates mocked the plaintiff's press conference, returned to their lawyers as sleazy with amateur filings, and mentioned the idea of sending a marching band constituting potential defamation, harassment, and interference with the event. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated by reference as Exhibit 12. On October 21st, 2024 at 2:44, SF mocked the plaintiff's decision to cancel their press conference due to concerns about a marching band, implying they were unreasonable or fearful, which may constitute harassment and defamation. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 13 at 9:06 p.m. Eastern Time. Fisher posted that the plaintiffs were looking for an excuse to explain their lack of search efforts of Sebastian Rogers and accused them of exploiting his disappearance for financial gain, which may constitute defamation by attacking their motives and integrity and harassment through continued public criticism. True and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein. That's Exhibit 14. October 22nd, SF Investigates posted statements accusing plaintiff Brittany J. of, in quotes, panhandling and begging for money during a live stream while also mocking her and providing updates of his legal filing status, which may constitute defamation by damaging her reputation, harassment through public belittlement, and interference with economic relations by potentially deterring financial support. A true and correct copy of this corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein. SF Investigates posted a statement comparing Brittany J. to a persistent panhandler who knocks on car windows, constituting defamation and harassment through continued derogatory remarks that damage her reputation. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein. Then at 12:49 a.m., SF Investigates posted statements implying that Brittany J. was exploiting her audience for money by restricting chat access to donors, stating, "Give me money or go away," which may constitute defamation by damaging her reputation and harassment through persistent negative commentary. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by Fisher is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 17. All right. So at 12:54, SF Investigates posted statements mocking and critiquing plaintiff Brittany J. and her co-host, suggesting that the plaintiffs were improperly conducting investigative services without proper licensing, which may constitute harassment by undermining their credibility and defamation by implying they were acting unlawfully. True and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 18. October 22nd at 7:52, SF Investigates posted comments mocking the plaintiffs and their professional teams, highlighting that their press conference cancellation due to a joke about a marching band was covered by mainstream media, suggesting incompetence or fear, which may constitute harassment and defamation. True and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit 19. On October 30th, SF Investigates posted comments suggesting that the at-night lawsuit was faltering due to alleged falsehoods and sworn affidavits submitted by the plaintiffs and accused them of potentially being liable for defendants' expenses. He further claimed that the plaintiff's case was weakened by their credibility issues and referenced plaintiff Jules, the dog handler, and accusations of fraud, which may constitute defamation by accusing the plaintiffs of lying and submitting false affidavits, harassment through continued attacks on their credibility, and interference with legal proceedings by publicly discussing and undermining ongoing legal matters. A true and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein. On November 1st, SF Investigates posted statements accusing plaintiff Bullhorn Betty of hypocrisy and violating GoFundMe's terms of service by seeking donations for her criminal defense, adding that he reported her to GoFundMe, which may constitute defamation by damaging her reputation, interference with economic relations, by potentially disrupting her fundraising efforts, and harassment through public attacks causing reputational harm. True and correct copy of the corresponding post by SF Investigates is attached here too and incorporated herein as Exhibit 21. SF's actions demonstrate a pattern of harassment and defamation aimed at plaintiffs, coordinated with existing defendants. His public statements have incited others to act against the plaintiffs, contributing to a broader campaign of harassment. So at this point, I just want to kind of take a break here. I think this is sort of the end of the SF Investigates part of it. So that's the argument for his involvement, kind of like his levels of harassment, defamation, things of that nature. And if I'm understanding this correctly, I think what they are suggesting is that by him filing in the court in the first place, you are in a sense acknowledging that court has jurisdiction over you, even though his argument was that this should all be held in Tennessee. He's acknowledging, I think, that court or that judge will be able to make that decision. So now he can. I think that if I'm reading that correctly, I think that's the argument that Lesniak's team is making there. Is that how you read that also?
I think so. Yes, that's the way I interpreted it. And a couple of people have asked the same question. Can we clarify that if it is a federal case? So can you kind of explain what we know about that so far? Because
No.
it's not federal at this point.
No, this is not federal. This is that. So how did I hear this phrasing? It's a state level, but with federal
Implications.
implications, like enforcement. So whatever happens in the state can be enforced throughout the nation. There's a phrase that was mentioned with that, but it's not a federal RICO case. It's not a criminal case at this point. At this point, it is a injunction, which is kind of like it's almost like a restraining order of sorts. It's basically let's put a pause on what's going on. They're asking for a pause on harassment, defamation, fundraising, things of that nature. They're asking for a halt on all of that until this is all settled, whether it's through a negotiation or if it makes it as far as litigation. So that's my understanding of how the injunction works. If it all goes forward, the judge can decide whatever he decides. The judge will maybe grant the full injunction. They might cherry pick parts, agree with some. The judge can dismiss it altogether. They could actually be more severe. They could put further kind of sanctions on the defendants if they think it's actually worse than what is presented. So there's a lot of leeway in how the judge rules on that. And then after that, then you would get a court date if they go forward with the lawsuit. And once it gets to that point, this could go on a very long time. So
because they have the opportunity to add more Jane Does and John Does to this, right?
I think so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that's my understanding of how that part of it works. And what could happen, I mean, there's a process, I mean, the whole thing could get tossed, I suppose, the judge could say, no, there's no merit to any of this and toss it all. So then that's sort of the end of it, I guess. But it could also be like, so if it goes forward and it's successful, then it could become criminal at that point. Because what the idea would be is you are laying out and putting all this evidence together for the state prosecutors. You're kind of doing the work for them in the civil litigation. And so if the prosecutors in Pennsylvania make that decision, then they can pick it up and say, yeah, we're going to take this evidence and we're going to bring criminal charges, but that'll be up to them also.
Right.
It's just that they'll have done all the legwork for them. So I think if the investigators think it's compelling, or the prosecutors think it's compelling, and they plead their case, especially if they win or look like they're going to win, then they may be tempted to do it. And a lot of those things are political too. How's the public going to feel in Pennsylvania about the cyberbullying? How the missing child, the things that have been said against Seth Rogers and Dog, and of course all the 50 folks, they'll have their defense too. And you just kind of have to see how that all lands.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready for me to?
Yeah, I just kind of took a break there after the SF Investigates part because we were about to get into Queen Bee.
Okay.
And so we can start at 36.
Okay, give me 1 second.
And there are, it's YouTube channels. I don't think there's any emails in this. So I'll start with 36 here. Oh, you got to pull it up, right?
Yeah. I'm going to skip the first line because it has her full name in it.
Sure.
And I'll present it.
And we can't see you, Mrs. E.
I know. Hold on.
That's how she likes it.
That's my preference. There we go. And
Well, thank you so much. Wow, we've got a big group in here. Thank you for. Well, maybe we should do this after school kind of time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's better.
Well, just as everybody knows, even though we are doing a serious court document, if we get to 1,000 likes, we will play our special video.
We do. So that is our carrot for everybody. I don't know where we're at on that.
We're about halfway
Halfway
there.
Yeah. So if you'd like to see the video, please hit the like button. We celebrate that with 1,000 likes.
And our regulars will know what video that is.
Yes, you will not be disappointed. I do not
Just
believe.
a reminder too to please be nice in the chat. We don't want anybody talking about other creators. And we try to, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah, Ginger for Ob says we love our video.
Yeah, I mean, I realize we're kind of it's a difficult line we're kind of walking here right now because we are having to discuss different creators, but we're going to do our best to do it in as respectful a way as possible.
Yes,
absolutely.
So we are now at the Queen Bee portion of this, really. Queen Bee has been associated with discussions involving defendants, Barbecue Lady, SF Investigates, and Granny's Watching, which have included defamatory statements and discussions that could be perceived as contributing to harassment against the plaintiffs. Queen Bee hosted at least 17 live streams following the filing of the instant action, including but not limited to. And then I don't see any reason to read the list of all of those.
Actually, WSU Mom Kim had a good question for those who have joined us for the first time. They may not understand exactly what the Rico means.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there is a state RICO law, essentially like a conspiracy, an anti-conspiracy law. And then you also have just the famous RICO law that's brought down, gangs and biker gangs and various criminal organizations I don't remember when this went into effect. The 70s, I think, is when that was passed. I think the early 70s. And the idea of the RICO laws, when you have a criminal organization of any kind, you can't defeat it because it just gets replaced by another person. You arrest a drug dealer, another drug dealer replaces them. You arrest a hitman, another hitman replaces them, right? So whatever the organization is, you're just always picking away at it. You can't remove it. So RICO, what it allows you to do is to take an entire organization in one fell swoop, every piece of it, the head, the foot soldiers, people that whoever's involved, and that's kind of the idea what RICO can do. And it has some. It's powerful, but partly because it has some enhancers. You can get anywhere from a day to 20 years, and with a RICO conviction, depending just really on the judge, the severity of the crime, that kind of thing. Added on top of whatever criminal thing you get. So the power of that makes people talk. So it's been effective against various organizations that way, because when you see that RICO stuff come in, people are sometimes willing to go away for 5 years. When you start looking at 20, 30 years, people start talking.
I think some of the people would like you to read some of the panelists that are mentioned. I don't know if you want to do that or not.
What do you?
Well, in the ones that you're asking me to skip, there's names of people who are mentioned in this.
Oh, like who's? Yeah, okay.
The YouTuber names.
Yeah, the YouTuber names.
Yeah, even if we don't read the title of each one, just to see who's kind of involved here.
Yeah, you could just do the date and then the person.
Okay, so these all.
So these are all hosted by Queen Bee, I think.
Yeah, these are all Queen Bee shows, I think. So these all start around. So it's October 18th. Queen Bee had Barbecue Lady and Granny's Watching. I think those are the only two mentioned there. October 19th.
Green Eyed PI.
I don't know who that is. So is that a name of someone?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Green Eyed PI. B Tim Voices, someone that's unidentified, and Bitter Tea. October 20th was B Tim Voices. And we're going to assume Queen Bee is on all of these as well, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
October 23rd was Bitter Tea and Rowena Sudpucker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any of these names. I don't know these
either.
So October 26th, Voices B Tim, My Dog's Snack Dealer, Oracle Crow, and Gypsy Trails. October 26th, Voices SS Psyops. October 29th, B Tim, Ellie, and Brianna. I'm not going to read her last name, but October 31st, Mitten Mama, AK-47, and Elevated Truth. November 1st, B Tim, Cheesy Wheezy, Linza Beansy, My Dog's Snack Dealer, Bitter Tea, Granny, Rowena Sudpucker, and SS Psyops. And then November 2nd, Rowena, Sud Pucker, Bitter Tea, Southern Ish, and Mitten Mama. November 2nd, B Tim Voices, Phoenix, Rowena, Southern Ish, Heartland Honey, SS Psyops, and Bitter Tea. November 3rd, Small Town Girl, B Tim Voices, and Heartland Honey.
Move up.
Hold on.
November 4th, B Tim Voices and Cappy. October 18th, I guess this is a different channel. It's called The Hive Sidebar. B Tim, Crime Sleuthin, Cappy, Cluminati, Ellie, and Bitter Tea. October 25th. Yeah, so these last three are the Sidebar show. You got Voices, My Dog's Snack Dealer, Cappy, Granny, Bitter Tea, and B Tim. Then the 28th, B Tim, Voices, Ellie, Cappy, and Mitten Mama. November 1st, Rowena. I think that's it.
Are we already on? I'm really
So,
behind. Sorry.
I'm unfamiliar with almost all those people, but maybe I'm sure some of you know who they are. If I mispronounced a name, I apologize. So we would be at number 38. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So this, and did I finish answering that Rico question?
Real
I'm not
quick.
sure that I did. I hope that helped answer the question. But anyway, nothing's criminal at this point. It just could be. That's basically the long and short of it. Right now, it is a civil action with a potential Rico. It's kind of it could go that way. It's just
Look how cute Panda Bear's mom sent us a
Aw.
dancing.
Thank you, Panda Bear's mom. We
I think
appreciate you being here, and thank
Somebody
you for
with
that.
maracas. I love it. Thank you so much, Panda Bear's mom. That's very sweet.
So it's one of those things. When you see that on there, you just you want to make sure you take it seriously. I think people are starting to take it seriously. Some they're getting attorneys and those kinds of things. So hopefully people can find a way to. My hope has been that people can find a way to negotiate a way out and not let it go into litigation. It doesn't look like that's where, at least the folks so far, it doesn't look like that's where it's headed. But maybe some of the others will. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So let's go to 38. This act defines a pattern of racketeering activity as involved at least two acts of indictable offenses, which can include fraud and other forms of misconduct. The actions described include defamation through unsubstantiated and harmful accusations made publicly by SF Investigates and other defendants, harassment through persistent negative commentary and public ridicule, and interference with contractual or economic relations by discouraging financial and professional support. So then we would be at Part C. This was something that wasn't quite laid out. Like, it's clear to me why they're trying to, why, because there's 50 people. Why aren't they all being pulled in now? Why these two at this point? I understand the SF Investigates argument in that because he made that filing that they said, well, now we have jurisdiction. You're acknowledging our court. You have to be here. I get that argument. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But at least I understand the argument. Queen Bee, it's not as clear to me. I think what it must be is because she hosted Granny on her panel. Is that why?
I guess that would be. We'd find
I
that
don't
out
know.
in the hearing. I don't know.
I think that's what it. I think that must be what they're getting at. But yeah, that why she's different than the others. That's the question I would like to ask, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure I caught it. If it might be in here, because I've only read through it once, so it might be in here.
You had to do it pretty quickly, so
Yeah, I might have missed it. So it's possible I missed it. So we are at Part C, justification for amendment under Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act, which is basically like a RICO Act. It's just Pennsylvania's version of it, I think.
And
Pennsylvania.
again, they want clarification that it is a state civil case, and if we've had 2 or 3 more questions about it being state civil or federal. So you want to?
Yes, it is. It is a. We're at the injunction phase. The lawsuit hasn't, or I guess the suit hasn't officially happened yet, and then and it'll be civil, and it's not they're not asking for financial. They're not looking for a payday other than their attorney fees. They are looking for action. So what they are requesting is action. So they're asking for things like tell your audience to stop harassing the plaintiffs. They want to pull down the videos that have defamation in them. They want an acknowledgement to stop and an agreement to stop harassing the various plaintiffs involved. And I think there's 5 or 6 other things on the list from that original filing, but they're not seeking monetary damages. They are seeking, actual action, like real relief from the court. And so, but this is civil at this point. It just could escalate. Basically, a prosecutor for the state would have to pick it up and think that it was a case they could prosecute and win. So I'm sure that the people of Pennsylvania, that those prosecutors there will be watching the case closely to see what they think. If they think it's something they can, prosecutors like to win. So if they think they can win, they'll pick it up. And so they'll say how compelling this evidence is, So let's go to 30. Oh, I already did this, didn't I? Yeah. So we're down to Part C. Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act prohibits any person from being associated with an enterprise that engages in a pattern of racketeering activity and participating in the conduct of such enterprise's affairs through that pattern of racketeering activity. An enterprise is defined as any individual, partnership, corporation, association, or other legal entity, and any union or group of individuals associated, in fact, although not a legal entity. Okay, I think that's all. Just a group. I mean, any kind of group. Don't have to
know each other.
You don't have to know each other. You don't have to even know the other people all exist, actually. You can be interconnected in various ways. And the pattern of racketeering activities, I was looking up this on the pattern thing. It's not pattern like you would think. It's not like fraud, like all in a row or anything like that. It could be fraud, then it could be harassment, and then it could be an assault 5 years ago. I mean, that can be considered a pattern. It just shows within this organization these criminal acts are happening. So it's not pattern in the way we as lay people typically think of the word. So when it says here, a pattern of racketeering activity requires at least 2 acts of racketeering activity, one of which occurred after the effective date of this section, and the last of which occurred within 10 years after a prior act of racketeering activity. That's a pretty wide
It is wide
range. That's a really wide range, right? That's a pretty low bar, actually, as far as meeting that standard, it seems to me. So then it says plaintiffs assert that defendants, including So SF Investigates and Queen Bee have formed an enterprise by associating together for the common purpose of defaming, harassing, and causing harm to the plaintiffs. Defendants have engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity by committing multiple predicate acts, including A, defamation, making false and defamatory statements about the plaintiffs in public forums and on social media platforms. Then it lists several exhibits there. Harassment and cyberstalking, engaging in a course of conduct directed at plaintiffs that alarms, annoys, or causes substantial emotional distress, serving no legitimate purpose. That phrase, that no legitimate purpose thing, I think is something we'll eventually hear a lot, because I've seen that in other stuff I've read on all of this. As far as free speech laws in Pennsylvania and such goes, that legitimate purpose thing is going to be, I think we'll hear multiple times. Interference with business relations, intentionally interfering with plaintiffs' contractual and business relationships by spreading false information and encouraging others to refrain from doing business with the plaintiffs. These predicate acts are related in that they share the common purpose of harming the plaintiffs and are continuous, demonstrating a threat of ongoing unlawful activity. Defendants' actions have directly caused harm to the plaintiff's business interests, reputations, and emotional well-being. Then Part D is the detailed application of the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act.
I have to step away for a second. It's a kid problem.
Oh, okay. Are we?
Everything's fine.
We're doing good. We're already on
Everything's
time
fine.
and all that.
Are
too.
you on 54?
I'm on Part D.
Okay, show me.
Number 48.
You might want to just read it off of here and scroll up, and I have to take care of something.
Sure. Can
important.
I turn?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any comments or anything, Nancy, about or questions about what we've done?
I'm looking. No, not really. I think you could go ahead and go on.
Okay. So we are at the detailed application of the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act, which is basically kind of like a Rico. Actually, that's too far away. I'm just going to read it off here. I don't know what I did.
I can still see it.
Yeah. I don't know how to scroll it. All right. Well, I'll just read this part anyway. Defendants, SF Investigates, Barbecue Lady, Queen Bee, and Granny's Watching, along with others, have formed an association and fact enterprise.
I need your phone.
Oh, sure. And how do I scroll this?
Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Two hands.
I couldn't get it to go.
Oh, you're not. You're on the wrong screen.
Okay.
You're on the StreamYard screen, silly.
Oh, I can't. Okay, I see.
Right here. Do that one.
And then that'll show up over here. Gotcha. I'm not sure quite where I was at.
You were on number 48 still. We were getting ready to do pattern of racketeering activity.
Okay. This enterprise is demonstrated by their coordinated actions, communications, and mutual efforts to harm the plaintiffs. The predicate acts have occurred over a period beginning. Skip that. The predicate acts are related as they have similar purposes to harm the plaintiffs' results, damage to plaintiffs' reputation and business, participants, the defendants, the victims, the plaintiffs, and methods of commission, use of online platforms and social media. The predicate acts have occurred over a period beginning at least on September 16th, 2024, and continue to the present, indicating both close-ended and open-ended continuity. So, predicate acts examples. So on October 18th, SF Investigates made public statements accusing the plaintiffs of fraudulent activities and undermining the legitimacy of their lawsuit. On October 19th, Fisher SF Investigates disseminated false allegations about the plaintiff, Seth Rogers, accusing him of serious crimes without evidence. Defendants have coordinated fundraising efforts under false pretenses, soliciting funds while making defamatory statements about the plaintiffs. And then part 4 is the impact on the plaintiffs. The plaintiffs have suffered economic harm due to interference with business relationships and loss of professional opportunities. Plaintiffs have experienced significant emotional distress as a result of defendants' ongoing harassment and defamation. The defendants' racketeering activities have directly caused injury to the plaintiff's business and property, satisfying the requirement under the act. So they've got to have real damages there. The combined coordinated actions of the defendants and new parties demonstrate conduct consistent with this pattern, including defamation through public, unsubstantiated, and damaging accusations. And then they list several evidence there, or exhibits. Harassment marked by persistent negative commentary and public ridicule. And interference with economic relations by discouraging support for the plaintiffs, clearly aligning with the multiple predicate offenses necessary to establish a pattern of racketeering activity under the Act. Defendants and new parties, including SF Investigates and Queen Bee, have engaged in a concerted effort to defame, harass, and harm the plaintiff's business and personal reputations through coordinated online activities. The predicate acts include multiple instances of defamation, harassment, and interference with economic relationships as documented in Exhibits 1 through 21 and other reference materials. So we need to stop for a second.
Okay, I'm just trying to get back on.
Sure.
What in the world did you do here?
I made it my own.
You
That's what
sure
I
did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I made it bigger so I could read it from there.
I see. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. I'll get back to it.
So what did I say? We're at 60, right?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to click that.
What did you click?
It was just somebody saying hello.
Well, that's okay. We can highlight the hello. That's all right.
Hello.
It was to someone else, though. It wasn't to us. Hi, Garrett. It's good to see you.
Yeah, just while we're kind of stopping here, I kind of agree with you here.
Can I see that very first page?
WSU mom Kim says, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna. I wanted to ask to see the very first page, real quick.
Oh, of this?
Yeah. The plaintiffs. people are asking questions about the plaintiff,
Sure.
if they've changed.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I'm not sure. So WSU mom
I
says,
just wanted to answer. Someone in chat asked if the plaintiffs have changed. The plaintiffs are listed as At Night Media, Dwayne Dog Chapman, Seth Rogers, Tony Mathis, Bullhorn Betty, allegedly it's Brittany J. I cannot remember. Why can I
Chasing
blank?
Crime.
Thank you. I blank on that every
I
time.
know. I got it back. I kept wanting to do crime something else, and
Yeah.
I could not remember it either.
Jules, the dog handler, Hong Zi. Is that how you say it? Z?
Hong Ji is what I would say, but I don't know.
Yeah. And Nik The Hat. And I'm not even going to try
No.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce Nick's last name.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all the same. No, I don't see anybody missing. So yeah, I think that's unless something happened today, I think they're all still on there. I don't know what I was.
You were going to read WSU mom's
Oh yeah.
comment.
Yeah, maybe instead of a lawsuit, it should be a clear and stated list of rules and boundaries that YouTube monitors, in my opinion. I agree. I think YouTube could have fixed a lot of this on their own. I don't know. They don't police a lot of these things. I think they should be policing.
I just want to remind there are some people in chat that are creators that might be involved with the case to be respectful and polite, or you will be removed. So.
And
Yeah.
also people attacking them. Please do not attack.
Yes,
other
do not
creators in
attack.
the chat.
You can ask questions, things like that, but let's be polite with people if they're here. I mean, everyone's welcome to be here. As long as we're all polite with each other. We just ask that we're just trying to understand the situation at this point, and see what the allegations are, and then see how we think all this is going to play out.
Wannabe Sleuth and something says, if you can say Nick's last name, you're a witch. That's funny.
And Stormy said, why are you allowing others to attack barbecue? I think we just said, please do not attack other creators. Just
Yeah,
so
I think. Yeah, I just caught up. I'd stepped away. I usually try to keep an eye on that, so I apologize.
Yeah, I apologize if barbecue got insulted. I hope everyone would please not do that.
But also if anyone is acting insulting, they will be removed, including creators. So yeah. Which I think that might have happened actually.
Okay, I missed it, so I'm sorry that's happened to whoever that happened to. So we appreciate it, creators from all sides being here. We just basically we were just reading this today because it's officially on the court website, and we just didn't want to get ahead of it until we knew for sure that this was going to be, that it was officially filed and public record and all of that. So I'm going to go to. I guess we want to do this part, right? This is exhibits and evidence.
Sure.
Oh, we may not want to read all this.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, parts of it, I guess we can do.
Okay. Is there anything that I need to worry about?
Yeah, I'm not sure we need to do all those exhibits because it's just saying all the evidence here.
Brianna's World is wanting to know who the two people were added today. That's what we are reading right now, Brianna. It is SF Investigates and Granny's
Queen
Watch.
Bee.
I mean Queen Bee.
Sorry, Queen Bee's added also.
Today.
Well, they've been added a few days ago. It's just that it wasn't up on the court's website until today.
Yes.
And so now that it's not, I know we had some people claiming that they've been served and had released some documents, but we just needed to wait until we could confirm ourselves that, that this was the case and that it was happening.
I was just going to address Lisa. Excuse me, my voice is going out. Do you mind?
Someone said that Trump's attorney was missing from the last filing. What do you know about that? A couple other people have also asked about Mr. Castor.
We do not see his name on this filing.
No.
So that's all that we know.
That's all.
So not sure if he's not on the case, if it's an error.
Yeah.
Not sure. So we are efforting to try to get Lesniak on the show so that if we get that opportunity, we will ask him that question and see if maybe a conflict of interest, that kind of, you just never know. Anything could be at
And
play there.
I just want to point out that Nikki says BBQ has the right to be here if you're discussing your case and have her name in your headline. Absolutely, as long as she is respectful. But if she has not been respectful, our moderators, and I don't see exactly what's going on, but if our moderators see her being disrespectful or saying anything hateful to anyone, she would be removed just like anybody else.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this goes all ways with everybody. There's, I hope everyone can be respectful. I didn't know she was here, but welcome in, BBQ. And if you are still here, if there's anything we've got factually incorrect about the situation, I don't know much about your channel. I don't have TikTok. I don't really know a lot about your platform at all. But feel free to reach out to us if there's ever any factual errors or anything like that we've gotten corrected. You could always email us and we'd be happy to clarify.
And I'm seeing some people saying that people were being disrespectful to her.
I see.
I do not agree with that either. We can be civil adults. We don't have to attack each other. Yeah. So if she is in here, please don't attack her. Please.
Yeah. I mean, this is how we got here in a way, is people not acting mature, not handling things like adults. And it's escalated. It's all snowballed. Some of this has gone on for years in crazy ways. We hopefully try to be a safe place for that as much as possible. So I do appreciate everyone keeping it, lowering the temperature a little bit,
Right.
I'd rather not do any attacks or anything like that. So I'll read some of this, I think. The actions of SF Investigates and Queen Bee as demonstrated in Exhibits 1 through 21 constitute defamation and harassment against the plaintiffs, as their public statements include false and damaging assertions about the plaintiff's professional conduct, reputations, and personal character. Defendants have engaged in a conspiracy to harm the plaintiffs by coordinating their actions and statements to amplify defamatory content and harass the plaintiffs. The defendants' actions violate the Pennsylvania. So it's really just reiterating everything that they've said through that part. Okay, so toward the end of this section, in the 66.
Oh, you're already.
I'm just skipping this because it's just saying here's the evidence, essentially. So I don't see any reason to read.
Are we really only on page 17 of 88? Oh my stars!
No. There's not that many.
No, there's like not 88 pages of this.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think. Yeah, we're not reading. Yeah, there's not much left. Not of this. There's only like 4 or 5 pages of this left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, this is page 17 of 88.
Well, that might include the original, perhaps.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. Plaintiffs intend to provide updated sworn declarations detailing the recent actions of defendants in supporting the new allegations. So if you were here with us before, we had the sworn declarations from Hong and Brittany J and everybody about their, everything they've experienced. So they're apparently going to at some point amend and update those. My understanding with these injunctions is they can be amended and edited and have things added to them for the foreseeable future, I guess, until this is all heard. But that is allowed, kind of an editing process and additional information as they see fit.
I see. Graham must have looked at it as well. He is saying that it has the exhibits at the end. That's why.
I see. Yeah, we're not going to do the exhibit. Yeah,
not tonight. We don't have time for that tonight.
There's a lot, yes, but we're not going to go over that today.
So then it says, additionally, plaintiffs are in the process of securing additional local counsel to assist the undersigned in the litigation. So that is also happening. Then B, the impact on the plaintiffs. Plaintiffs have suffered significant harm to their reputations, business interests, and emotional well-being due to the defendant's actions. The actions of SF Investigates and Queen Bee, as demonstrated in Exhibits 1 through 21, constitute defamation and harassment against the plaintiffs through false and harmful assertions regarding their professional conduct, reputations, and personal character. Defendants' coordinated online attacks caused loss of business opportunities, interference with contractual relations, and significant emotional distress, deterring third parties from associating or doing business with the plaintiffs, intentionally interfering with plaintiffs' economic relations. Defendants' actions have also undermined the plaintiffs' efforts to investigate and resolve the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers, causing further harm, amounting to intentional infliction of emotional distress, as the extreme and outrageous nature of their actions has caused severe emotional distress to the plaintiffs. I think that that paragraph 71 there, I think if that can be conveyed to, if that's conveyed to the judge the right way, it's going to be very compelling, I think. Where they will say, yeah, like if they're thinking, is an injunction necessary? Well, they're in the middle of searching for a child and investigators are getting death threats. That is the kind of thing I think a judge might go, okay, yeah, we're gonna greenlight the injunction and put a stop to this.
Yeah, I think that would be very compelling if it's presented the right way.
Right. Just depends on the argument, and you get in front of a judge, you just never know. But I think that'll be a point of emphasis, I would guess, from the attorneys. So the impact on litigation: the proposed amendments may affect the case timeline and discovery process by necessitating additional discovery related to the new defendants and allegations. However, addressing all related claims and parties in a single action promotes judicial efficiency and prevents inconsistent judgments. Including SF Investigates and Queen Bee solidifies their status in the litigation, enabling a comprehensive resolution of all the issues and preventing further harm to the plaintiffs. So I guess that kind of answers my earlier question. I guess they're trying to have this all in one hearing with the four of them. Is that how you would? I think that's what they're asking for.
I think that's what they're saying.
Defendants' coordinated actions aimed at amplifying defamatory content and harassing the plaintiffs demonstrate a pattern of racketeering activity through multiple predicate acts, violating the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act. And then part 5 is the legal standard. Pennsylvania Rule of Civil Procedure permits a party to amend a...
Sorry. I was checking the likes.
Permits a... Oh, how are we? Are we at the...
We're 1,000? Only at 577. We have to get to 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 for the video.
He is very, very
strict
when it comes to that.
If we do it every time, it's not as... it doesn't mean as much. Let's see. So the rule provides a party either by filed consent of the adverse party or by leave of court may at any time change the form of action, add a person as a party, correct the name of a party, or otherwise amend the pleading. Yeah, so it's kind of what we were saying earlier. They can make all kinds of adjustments. So I didn't catch this, but I guess they could.
Away real quick. Sorry.
I guess they theoretically could add a plaintiff even, couldn't they?
Yeah, here you go.
So obviously they're going to try to add a defendant, but they could add plaintiffs if they felt something arose to that, I suppose. Amendments should be liberally allowed to secure a determination of cases on their merits whenever possible. Absent an error of law or resulting prejudice to an adverse party, the court should grant leave to amend. In determining whether to grant leave to amend, courts consider factors such as undue delay, bad faith, dilatory motive, repeated failure to cure deficiencies, undue prejudice to the opposing party, and futility of amendment. The proposed amendments to include SF Investigates and Queen Bee as defendants satisfy these legal standards and are warranted given the newly arisen factual allegations and ongoing harm caused to the plaintiffs. There's been no undue delay or bad faith in seeking these amendments. The plaintiffs have diligently pursued this action, evidenced by their documentation and inclusion of exhibits supporting the claims against the defendants. Let's see, I think I'm caught up to her here. Just want to make sure I'm not hitting any street addresses.
I think we need to stop at page, I can tell you. We're going to be stopping at 24. So
page 24? Okay, so we're good.
We'll stop at, so right now we're on 20, but we'll stop at 24. Because I believe 25 does have some information on it we don't want to show.
Oh, okay. Good. Thanks for the heads up on that. The need to include SF Investigates and Queen Bee as defendants arose only after their active incitement and participation in conduct detrimental to the plaintiff's business, reputation, and well-being became apparent. Granting leave to amend will not result in undue prejudice to the defendants. Instead, it will promote fairness by allowing all related parties and claims to be addressed within the same action, aligning with the goal of resolving cases on their merits. Okay, so I'm going to try to get it all done in one hearing, not instead of 4, I guess.
Right.
Or 2 in this case. So we'll just see what happens. Part 6 is the argument. The proposed amendments are necessary to address new facts and parties. The inclusion of SF Investigates and Queen Bee as defendants is essential to fully adjudicate the plaintiff's claims. Their active participation in the alleged wrongful conduct has caused additional harm to the plaintiffs, and their actions are directly related to the original claims. I'm going to mute for a second. I'm sorry. Apologize. The intertwined claims of defamation, harassment, violations of the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act, conspiracy, and other relevant laws are supported by the factual allegations and exhibits presented. Defendants have engaged in a pattern of conduct that constitutes racketeering activity under the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act, involving multiple predicate acts, such as demonstrated in Exhibits 1 through 21. The coordinated efforts among the defendants to defame, harass, and harm the plaintiff's reputations and business interests necessitate the inclusion of additional claims and parties to ensure comprehensive relief. Relatedness and continuity of predicate acts. So this is Part B. The pattern of activity outlined in this case demonstrates both continuity, relatedness, essential elements for establishing a RICO claim under the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act. Pennsylvania courts frequently reference federal RICO jurisprudence to interpret these requirements. The relatedness criterion requires that predicate acts have similar purposes. Results, participants, victims, or methods of commission, indicating they are not isolated events, but interconnected actions. This standard is supported by the U.S. Supreme Court's interpretation in H.J. Inc. versus Northwestern Bell, which has been influential in Pennsylvania rulings. I'm going to switch back to paper. The defendant's actions in this case, as detailed, this conduct shares a common purpose to harm the plaintiffs and involves similar methods, repeated actors, and targets. This satisfies the relatedness component necessary for a PCOA claim. I think we all kind of understand what they're at least alleging there.
Mm-hmm.
They're just saying that it's the same people that are getting targeted over and over, even if it's multiple different people that are doing it, right? At least that's the allegation. You had something?
I'm just I'm not caring for rudeness in chat. So
Okay. Well, if you guys wouldn't mind, please let's stop with that if we could. I would appreciate that. We just need to kind of lower the temperature on all of this if at all possible. Continuity of predicate acts. Continuity as defined by Pennsylvania and federal precedent can be established through either a closed-ended period of repeated conduct or an open-ended period that poses a future threat of repetition. The U.S. Supreme Court explained that a series of related predicates extending over a substantial period or conduct projecting into the future with a threat of repetition fulfills the continuity requirement. Right. So the idea that do we think that it would stop on its own, or would continue? That's what they're saying there. All right. So page 21. We're gonna
actually I wanted you to answer an interesting question.
I'll do my best. None of us are attorneys. None of us are lawyers. Never been to law school. No. So it's just we are all giving layman's opinions and just our understanding of things. Cheryl asks, how can the plaintiffs file an injunction using the name of a minor child without the consent from both parents? They're not official law enforcement, so how can a minor child be used in a legal claim? I don't think he's not a plaintiff.
He's not a plaintiff. So
no, he's not a plaintiff here.
But his father is, and his father's representative, Tony Mathis is.
Yeah.
So just so that's probably a misconception that's going around.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't. I don't know what would prevent him. I don't know what would stop that. He's not a plaintiff, so maybe that's the misunderstanding there. Let's see. So I was on 90. Was on 92 still?
And Cheryl followed up and said, I would think that you would need consent from both parents, but actually, I don't think that's exactly what it's about here.
No, I don't think this is not on the, it's involving Sebastian in that there's a search for him and then people are investigating his disappearance. So it's the investigators and one of the parents of, and various reporters of the case. So related that way, but they're not suing on behalf of him.
And
but I don't know that he couldn't do that anyway. I don't know why he wouldn't be able to, even if he were.
I see our buddy CJ's in here. Hi, CJ. We got to meet CJ in person at the vigil. He's a very, very nice person.
Yeah, it was great.
And Busby, I always say that wrong. and also Trey from Narca Divers. So all very nice people.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you guys and kind of, yeah. So it was a great conversation. It was really good meeting you guys. So let's I'll just continue here. The defendant's targeted and repeated conduct over an extended period illustrates closed-ended continuity, while the persistent and escalating nature of their actions suggests an open-ended continuity that threatens future harm. These combined elements establish that the defendant's conduct amounts to a pattern of racketeering activity under Pennsylvania law, as it meets the standard of relatedness and continuity. Courts, including the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, have emphasized that a pattern must show related predicate acts that are ongoing to or pose a risk of future repetition, aligning with the principles outlined in the instant matter. So all of this basically is showing, is there a pattern? Are these all connected? Are the victims all connected? Do we have a belief that all of this will stop on its own, or will it continue? So the judge, looking at what they've looked at, will make that decision if they think that's the case or not. So we'll see how that argument goes. Part D is, there has been no undue delay, bad faith, or dilatory motive. Plaintiffs have acted promptly in seeking this amendment upon discovering the involvement of the defendants in the escalation of wrongful conduct. The amendment is sought in good faith to address ongoing harm and to include all responsible parties in the litigation. Part E is, the amendment will not prejudice the defendants. The amendment will not cause undue prejudice to the existing defendants, as the case is in its early stages and discovery has not yet been completed.
Interesting.
Can I?
Yeah.
I need to mute for a second.
That part of the argument I don't really know as much. Or
Sorry, we were still muted. Just talking away. Forever Glow says she's a legal assistant here, but Seth has the right to file anything regardless or regarding his son. So
I would think so. I would think you wouldn't need both parents just to file something. I mean, I don't think that's actually even the case here, but I think they could. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, because I mean, there'd be a lot of situations where parents, there's lots of, split marriages where the parents don't get along and don't see eye to eye. So, yeah, I don't know why they couldn't. Let's see. At least it makes logical sense to me why that'd be the way. I don't know if I read this part. So defendants will have ample opportunity to respond to the amended complaint, including the new defendants promotes judicial efficiency by consolidating related claims and parties into a single action, avoiding duplicated litigation. So they're not going to have to do this whole thing twice, do it in one hearing, and that they'll have enough time to do whatever they need to do, respond in 20 days and all those kind of things. Part F is, the amendment is not futile. Under Pennsylvania law, the new allegations are sufficient to state claims upon which relief can be granted, including defamation, harassment, violations of the Pennsylvania Corrupt Organizations Act, conspiracy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The detailed factual allegations against SF Investigates and Queen Bee, supported by the exhibits, substantiate the claims and demonstrate a pattern of wrongful conduct. SF's acceptance of the court's jurisdiction by filing a motion eliminates any concerns related to personal jurisdiction.
Oh, hi, Brittany J. Nice to see you. Welcome in.
Hi, Brittany. How are you doing? Thanks for being here. Yeah, so that is the whole key to why I think SF is being pulled in. His acceptance of the court's jurisdiction by filing a motion eliminates any concerns related to a personal jurisdiction. That's the argument they're making. Therefore, the proposed amendment has merit and is necessary to achieve justice and prevent further harm to the plaintiffs. All right. And then in conclusion, part 7.
I don't know if you want to.
Well, you tell me. I can't read it from over there. Do I want to read this?
You might want to read it here.
Oh, well, yeah, let's read it.
Yeah.
I apologize, Barbecue. So let's pull this up.
Okay. Let's see. I have to find it. Sorry. There you go.
Barbecue Lady says, your chat's attacking me and you are turning a blind eye. War, family, why can't I be here and not be Lied on and ridiculed. I'm here to hear commentary. Well, I apologize on that anyone. We've been trying to monitor that and ask repeatedly people to be polite to everyone on all side of it. So if I haven't seen it, I don't usually look at the chat. I've been reading all night, but anyway, anything that anybody said rude to you, it's certainly not at our request. I have been asking and always ask. Actually, this is how we run our show over here: is to always be polite to people, and that anyone with a different opinion is welcome, as long as we're respectful to each other. So, I know
One thing you can do
super
is
busy.
one thing she can do is block the people that are saying things, so that way she doesn't see those. But we don't always catch everything because the comments go very fast, as you know. So I mean, we don't allow it, but sometimes it slips through.
Yeah. So anyway, it's nothing personal against you. We that's our standard. So sorry if any of this slipped through the cracks, but it's not condoned on our end. And you're certainly welcome to be here. We're glad you're here. And like I said, I don't know if you were around earlier. I don't know, if you're kind of in and out or not, but any thoughts you have, anything that you would like to send to us, feel free to email us anytime. Especially if we get something factually incorrect about anything happening. If we say anything, because I don't know you really at all. I don't have TikTok. So I,
Betty
be happy to
has a
clarify.
good point. This is a great point. Any plaintiffs?
Yeah, this is probably, Bullhorn Betty, any plaintiffs, please don't engage in contact with defendants of your case, please and thank you.
It's very smart.
Yes, if it were me, I mean, I wouldn't either. I'm not an attorney, wouldn't give that advice, take that advice as a lay person's advice. I certainly wouldn't engage with anybody, plaintiff, defendant. If I were on either side of this, I wouldn't be talking to any of these people. I wouldn't be talking about any of these people. If it were me, I would be talking about things in general terms and such. But everybody's got to do their own way. But I think that's great advice, Betty.
Yes. And hello, Betty. Welcome in. I saw people talking about you, but I hadn't seen you post yet. So welcome.
Yeah,
in.
we're always glad to have you here. We appreciate you coming in. And it was good to see you the other day.
Did I tell you Brittany's here? I see a lot of our friends in here in chat. So
and thanks to our mods, I know you're super busy. Apparently it's been kind of rough. So
it's pretty rough. I'm trying to, and it's hard to keep up today.
I'm not sure who all's here. I just saw Misty go by, so thank you, Misty. And I think K-Mac, is she back in yet? I'm not sure who else here, but thank you for helping us out. Let's see. I think I read this. Oh yeah. So we finished that part. Conclusion.
I'm sorry, I'm way behind.
Page 23.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go.
For the foregoing reasons, plaintiffs respectfully request that this honorable court grant leave to file the attached amended complaint, adding SF Investigates and Queen Bee as defendants and incorporating new factual allegations and causes of action. The amendments are necessary for a comprehensive resolution of related claims, preventing further harm to plaintiffs, and aligning with Pennsylvania Rule of Civil Procedure to ensure fairness and judicial efficiency. So that is from the offices of Joseph Lesniak. And then I think that might be the end of that. Then we start to get into the evidence portion of things, which, but you would essentially be going through all of the
exhibits,
the ex posts of SF Investigates. All of that's going to be on that account. I suppose there's going to be, what do they list? All of the, did they do transcripts or is it audio files?
I'm going to remove it, but I haven't looked that far, honestly.
But if you want to look at that, maybe we'll do that one day.
Yeah, here's the exhibits. It's mostly Twitter posts. Yeah, it's mostly SF's Twitter posts, and we can do that a different day. We're limited on time. That's why we had to go so early, guys.
Yeah.
Nick's joining us tonight. Hello, Nick. Hello, Don B.
Nick. Don B.
Hey, wow.
Everybody's here.
Welcome
in, Nick.
So we we're kind of getting a bigger picture of just who all is involved in this. We're starting to kind of see people's defense. I haven't heard a lot from Barbecue Lady, so I don't really know what her position on a lot of things has been. Listened to a little bit of Granny's watching, and I don't think she's going to be looking to at least publicly, she's not looking to negotiate. I don't think. It looks like she prefers to fight. I'm sure out of the 50 people, everybody's going to have their own strategies, but that seems to be where she's headed. I listened to some of her today, and it sounds like what she's kind of saying is that she believes she didn't do anything wrong. So why should she negotiate if she didn't do anything wrong? And so that's her position. So at least publicly, that's what she's saying. We'll see what happens, but that seems to be what she's saying at the moment.
Well, Barbecue's asking if you would like to read the filing from today. It's not up on the court site.
The final.
So it's up, I don't know if we have time for
Sure.
that tonight.
Sure.
I think
yeah,
we've got the gist of what we've finished.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Okay, hold on one second. We were just checking with an attorney friend of ours. Hold on.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. Okay. Hey, Auntie, why don't you talk to chat for a second?
Let me talk on mute with Mrs. E real quick. I just want to do something.
All right. Hello, Polish girl in Vegas. That's a great name. Thanks for joining us tonight. Marina girl, hello. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Marilyn Riggs, hello. And let's see. Cheryl Ray, I just wanted to address what you said. You said, Aunt E, I've sent prayers for the health of your son. Just to kind of give you an update for those that are our regular followers. My son had a really bad accident and fell back in October, and he is doing much better. He actually saw his neurologist yesterday and started physical therapy for his back and shoulder as part of his injury. His head's all healed up. Stitches have come out. So he's doing much better, back to work. And so we really appreciate all your prayers for him. He is doing good. And even though he's 28, he's still my baby. So I appreciate all the prayers and all of the people that have messaged and said prayers for him. We really appreciate that. And I thank you guys for more than you know. And Nick said, the only way we will find Sebastian is if we join together. Why are we allowing this to happen to our youth? We are being called to rise above the hatred, the fear, and the intimidation. And I think we see that so much in today's world, that we see so many children go missing. Right now, there's thousands upon thousands of missing children, especially those that have come across our borders in the last few years. There's many hundreds of thousands of missing children that have come across that we can't even track. So I agree. We need to rise above all of that and do what's in the best interest of children, and stop the bickering, the fighting, and fear and intimidation, and work to find all these kids. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I know Mr. and Mrs. E are as well. So that's definitely something that I think we all should be able to agree on without anything else. Let's see. Let's see. We've got lots of great comments. This is one from Karen S. If everyone would have conducted themselves in a way that wouldn't disgrace a missing child, we wouldn't be here. Behave in such a way that would be appropriate for a child, and you can't go wrong. Amen. Amen. That's the truth. And that's why we've always tried to keep our show focused on facts, focused on what we can find out and what we know is truth. And we try not to even put any kind of hearsay in there at all. And, that's very important to us. And we did get a super chat. Let me put that up. Hang on one second. I'm still trying to get up to your super chat to put it up. That we've gotten so many chat tonight. So thank you guys so much for being involved. And Only Being Chris is a new member. Thank you so much. And Only Being Chris also, hang on, let's show yours. It's a $20 super chat. He says, "Dear Sebastian, we are rooting for you and can't wait to find you. You are so very loved. Let's go." And that is true. We have that's been our focus because my nephew and Mr. and Mrs. Eason has autism. That was what struck a chord with us immediately with the case, and being so close to their home. They were pulled in and compelled to be involved in the case kind of from the beginning, at least from afar. And then we became to where we talked about it every day and talked about, where could he be, what could be going on, strategies and ideas. And that's where our show, sorry about that. That's where our show came about. And, we appreciate it only being Chris, because we do care about Sebastian, and that was our focus for our show. And we have him to thank for that. So thank you again for the $20 super chat. We really appreciate it. Sorry, my dog is seeing another dog across the street. So Charlie, the crime dog, is on her alert today. And SS Butterfly Kisses says, Auntie, I love to hear about your son doing good. Thanks for sharing. Once a baby, always a baby. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Auntie, I believe Chris, I'm looking at Chris's picture. Chris is a girl.
Oh, I just said only being Chris. Did I say he?
Oh, you said he.
I'm so sorry, Chris.
And also only being Chris became a new member. So welcome.
I said that. You missed it.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry.
That's
We were
okay.
getting some clarification. We're getting some clarification.
Gotcha. I figured.
So we're just kind of.
So I think we will go ahead and go forward, right? I think so. We're just making sure we've got everything squared away.
Oh wait, are we at 1K likes? No,
surely not.
No,
surely not.
No way. Oh, and Justin is here. Welcome in, Justin. Clutch them pearls. And Aunt E, have you seen his monkey?
And Seth is
here
too.
No, I haven't. I've got to get on.
Oh my gosh! What if I wanted my entire life?
A spider monkey.
Well, just a monkey in general.
Yeah,
I wouldn't discriminate.
The monkey is pretty awesome,
but I can't. As after having 3 kids, I don't know if I could commit to that.
And 2 dogs.
and 2 dogs.
Okay, so I think we're all right.
We're in the clear.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to check. So 308 more likes, and we play the video. If you don't know what we're talking about, you will be pleasantly surprised. If you do know, then you've probably already hit the like button.
I don't know if we're at 1,000 or not for real. I don't know if people are tricking me.
We're at 682.
Oh, well, people are tricking me.
Yeah, or 92.
Yeah, they're lying.
Well, I'll do a like, and so that way we get a little closer there. So today, I think this came.
We were just checking with an attorney to make sure that it was okay to go ahead and do this.
Yes, so we want to make sure everybody wants to make sure they do things the right way.
And I believe BBQ was asking us to read it. So, and it is her side of things. So I think it should be read.
Yeah. And if there's anything I'm misunderstanding, BBQ, feel free to reach out to me later, and I'd be happy to clarify anything like that. I've just briefly looked at this today. So this is
one time.
Yeah, that's basically the same for me too. So this is a filing on this case.
And we're not going to put this on the screen.
Yeah, we're not going to put this up because I'm not sure where addresses and things like that are yet. And we're trying to avoid all that. And but it's a reply to petition for preliminary injunction and final injunction and other equitable relief. And this is filed on the behalf of BBQ Lady. Her counsel is Thomas W. King III, who's a Pennsylvania licensed attorney there. And then also Thomas E. Breath Esquire, also licensed in Pennsylvania. The Thomas King is a name I've seen a couple of times. I'm not sure if I've seen Breath before. So anyway, the law firm.
I think, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Sorry.
That's okay.
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 Sorry.
Yeah.
A little side note.
That's all right. People just sending us advice on things, it's great. Mm-hmm. So the firm is Dillon, McCandless, King, Coulter, and Graham LLP. And this is in regards to this case that we've been discussing, the At Night Media Group, all the 10 plaintiffs, and involving Granny, and Barbecue Lady. And so this section is called Reply to Petition for Preliminary Injunction and Final Injunction and Other Equitable Relief. And now comes the defendant, Barbecue Lady, by and through her undersigned counsel, Dylan McCandless, King, Coulter, and Graham LLP, per Thomas E. Bruth and Thomas W. King, files the within reply to preliminary injunction and other equitable relief, averring in support thereof as follows. And that is a word I had never heard before. So I'm going to guess if I've never heard the word, maybe some of you have not either, but it basically means affirmation or allegation. So like support, affirming in support thereof as follows. So it has some kind of meaning like that. And it's that word you'll see throughout this actually. So number one, it says denied.
Oh, sorry. This is.
You want to do that before we get into it?
Yes. Thank you so much, Aria.
Thank
Aria
you,
is one of
Aria.
our new moderators.
Oh, thank you, Aria. We appreciate that. I don't see the comment.
Thank you
There it
so
is.
much.
Well, thank you. And thank you for agreeing to be a moderator for us. We apparently were needing it tonight. Thank you, Mr. E's Crimecast, for your eloquent presentation and for consistently being kind and to everyone. Hashtag Sebastian Strong.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you,
very
Aria. We
nice.
appreciate it.
I mean, that's really, really super nice. Thank you.
Yes, that's very kind. You really didn't have to do that. You're helping us.
And
but we
thank you for
appreciate it.
being a mod. We appreciate it. And
Yeah.
thank you to all of our mods. I know you guys are working hard out there to keep our chat friendly and kind.
Including Nightbot.
Including, well, I can't figure that stuff out. It's just I either do it too fast or do too slow.
Nightbot's
so.
great. Nightbot's great. And I'm just kidding. Let's see. So denied. This is number one. After reasonable investigation, the defendant is without knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to the truth of the averment, and strict proof thereof is demanded at time of trial. By way of further response, the averment is denied and strict proof thereof is demanded. 1.1 denied. After reasonable investigation, defendant is without knowledge or information to form a belief as to the truth of the averment, and strict proof thereof is demanded at time of trial. By way of further response, the averment is denied and strict proof thereof is demanded. Okay. So that is, so that's part one. And part two, like Roman numeral part two. And I was trying to find where this lined up with the original complaint, and I can't match it. So I'm not exactly sure if this is what this means. But you'll see as we go through this, there will be denials on each numbered section. Like it'll be part two, then it'll be part 2A.2, part 2A.3, but I couldn't find that corresponding numbering in the original. So I don't know if it's responding to the different plaintiffs or certain allegations. So I'm not positive, but regardless, this gives you the argument and defense that Barbecue Lady's team is putting up. So denied. And then part 2A.1 denied. Such an injunction is legally impermissible as follows. 1. Such a preliminary injunction would violate the defendant's free speech rights under Article 1, Section 7 of the Pennsylvania Constitution and the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. This is probably going to be the argument that most of these defendants, I think, are going to have throughout. It's going to come down to First Amendment versus harassment defamation. That's going to be the line that everyone's going to try to, to defend. That's where that's where a lot of this, I think, is going to come down to. Number 2, there is no irreparable harm to the plaintiffs. Okay, so that's pretty clear. 3, the relief requested is impermissible and not related to any legitimate causes of action. 4, the plaintiffs have filed an unverified complaint. 5, the plaintiffs seek monetary damages. And that one, I'm not sure what they meant, because I don't think they're seeking like financial damages. They're seeking action, relief, other than the attorney's fees.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe that's what they mean by monetary damages. So I'm not positive. Barbecue, if you know that, that'd be great to let us know. I guess that's what they mean. It's probably the attorney's fees. 6, the matters complained of include averments of counsel, including counsel writing in the first person. Writing in the, I'm not sure. Are they saying that in the filing it's written in the first person at times? The matters complained of include averments of counsel, including counsel writing in the first person. Maybe they wrote an I or something at some point. I'm not sure. I don't know what that means. 7, the action is in violation of Pennsylvania's recently passed anti-SLAPP statute and is obdurate, vexatious, and without any legal basis. And now this I have heard Granny's Watching mention a number of times, and we kind of talked about this before. What these SLAPP laws are all about is what these laws try to do, and it just recently passed in Pennsylvania, like this summer. But what they try to prevent are frivolous lawsuits. And an example that I saw was there was a customer that went on Yelp, complained about a restaurant, and in that restaurant, the big corporation, sued the lady for defamation. And even though the lady won that suit, when she countersued, all she could claim was $10,000 in legal fees. And even though she had spent tens of thousands of dollars defending herself. So it was basically lawmakers are just deciding that this is an unfair practice. It's a way for the big corporations to hammer, any criticism, or even for the government to do that for that matter, and squash people and them not even be able to recoup their legal fees. So these anti-SLAPP laws have set it up where if somebody brings a frivolous suit against you and they countersued, they can get all those legal fees and not just be capped at $10,000. I read a little bit up on this today also, just kind of.
I just want to address this real quick so there's no confusion. WSU Mom says, that sounds to me as if the court, I don't know what IHA means, ruled not to take this injunction and lawsuit under review. The lawsuit / Rico has been denied, in my opinion. No, that is incorrect.
No, that has not been decided yet. This is just their filing.
It is my understanding there'll be a hearing to decide this, correct?
Yeah, I believe there'll be a hearing. Yeah.
There is a hearing to decide.
An in-person hearing, I believe, is how that'll go. This is just, I think, reply. Yeah, so this is saying a reply to petition for preliminary injunction and final injunction and other equitable relief. I think this is what they're saying is this is going to be our argument against. This is going to be our argument against this injunction. I don't know that they're seeking relief right now, like immediate relief from it, like to be just dropped immediately. Although I'm sure, I'm sure all the defendants would like that. I don't know that that's what they're asking. We'll see here. But there was I read a few things on this anti-SLAPP stuff, and there was one really good article. If you kind of want to read on it, it's by Michael Berry, and it's the Ballard Spar. So like BALLARDSPAHR.com, and this is an article written on August 1st of this year, and it kind of goes into what. It does a little more layman terms. Everything I was reading was so lawyery that it was just kind of hard to understand what the purpose was and what they're trying to do. But like, I'll just read a little part here, but it says, at its core, Act 72 is designed to deter meritless defamation suits and allow parties subjected to such suits to recover the attorney's fees they are forced to incur for defending against those claims. The law achieves this objective through its substantive provisions. Specifically, the Act provides immunity from civil liability for any claim based on protected public expression. The statute defines protected public expression to include communications in government proceedings, communications about an issue under consideration in a government proceeding, or communications on a matter of public concern. So like, and there was a part here where it says there's really three main areas that it looks to protect the type of speech. Let me see if I can find it here.
And while you're doing that, Michelle said, okay, so what you are reading now is the other side. Yes, it's Barbecue Lady has sent in basically, I don't want to say appealing because it's not called an appeal, but a document saying that what they're proposing that they've done is incorrect. That's the layman's way, I guess, to put it.
Yeah, this is going to be their defense. There's like 14 items that they lay out. Okay, here it is. The law's immunity does not extend to various kinds of claims. For instance, it does not apply to claims asserted against government agencies or employees acting in official capacities. So that would be a group that would not apply here in this situation, right? There's three main groups, it seems. This doesn't have anything to do with government agencies or employees acting in official capacities, not criticism of them, right? Claims arising under statutes involving protection from abuse and protection of individual victims of SA violence or intimidation. That is not the situation here. But maybe this is not the section. And claims to enforce non-disparagement of or non-compete agreements, misappropriation of trade secrets, and a variety of internal corporate disputes. Now there was another section I'm looking for. Anyway, I can't remember where it is, but the section I'm trying to find, it says something about topics of public concern, so like, free speech issues that way.
Right.
So things of, if you were discussing,
T and Nurse has a good point,
politics or whatever.
Yeah, I think this is a good explanation.
You want to read it?
Yeah. So Tennessee Nurse says this simple explanation is that this is Barbecue's response on each allegation, and she's pretty much saying denied and prove it. Yeah, but she is citing the law, one of the laws that she's going to use to try to defend, and that's this anti-SLAPP, which is this kind of, it's trying to protect people from frivolous defamation suits where they can't at least recoup their costs if they win. So that, because that is unfair. I mean, if you spend $30,000 in a defense and you win and you can't countersue for more than $10,000, well, that is a crazy disadvantage to the defendant. So that's probably a good law that way. One of the things that they also say with these anti-SLAPP laws is they kind of help preemptively stop these, frivolous lawsuits, because people know going in that that the scales are a little more even, that you might be less likely to even attempt a frivolous suit. So then number 8, the plaintiffs are unlikely to succeed on the merits of the lawsuit. And that is everything I have read about these injunctions. That is actually what the judge is supposed to consider, is if the judge believes that the merits are heavy enough that they'll win, they usually let the injunction go through. If the judge thinks it's frivolous, then they usually don't let it go through. So in a way, when the judge makes this decision on this injunction and kind of how they read their decision, that'll probably give you a good indicator on whether or not the case will be successful or not.
Right.
It would be kind of a little clue how things might be going in the future. Not a guarantee, but just a clue, because that's what they're supposed to consider. Number 9, the action is civil in nature and is intentionally cast as violations of criminal law. Well, I think it is being cast as violations of criminal law in a sense. I don't know if that makes it invalid or not. I guess there's an argument there. 10, the court lacks subject matter jurisdiction. Okay. The court lacks personal jurisdiction regarding the events set forth in the complaint. The form is inconvenient and in a number of instances inappropriate. The petition should be denied for the reasons set forth in defendant's preliminary objections, which are incorporated herein. And 14, greater harm will result to the defendant as a result of the granting of such petition. Which that is probably a decent argument actually for the defendants, because if they're with what they're requesting can cause them financial harm and things of that nature, then that's a good argument in their defense there. Let's see. and this all of this about jurisdiction. I don't know how they're going to decide this.
What's the jurisdiction thing?
Well, this is something you're going to see throughout. But
sorry, I haven't had a chance to read it.
Venue, which court should hold it, which county. But you've got people and defendants and plaintiffs all over the country.
Right.
Where are you gonna litigate this? You're gonna go follow 50 people. This is kind of the world we're in with internet stuff and internet, suits, especially with a group of 50 people that are all in probably 50 different counties, very likely. I don't know how that's determined, but I don't think Barbecue Lady lives anywhere near Delaware County. I don't think she does. I think remember what town somebody said.
Well, it doesn't.
But anyway, she's not in that county. And then 2.A.2 denied such an injunction as
she says she doesn't. Yeah.
Does not live in the county.
Yeah.
Such a preliminary injunction would violate defendants' free speech rights. And this is going to be repetitive. I don't even know if these vary, because it's like the same 14.
They're identical. It's the same 14 each time. I read through that and I saw that.
I was looking to see, are there any differences in any of these 14? I couldn't find any.
I didn't see any. For some reason, my document's not pulling up now, but I did review it. And when I read it, I noticed that those 14, the 1 through 14, were the same on each one of those.
Yeah. I don't think so. Anyway, we can read them again if you like, but I think that those 14 are the same for all 7 of these denials. And I'm not sure what they're directed at. So I don't know if it's 7. I think there were 7.
Do you need the original?
Allegations?
I looked through it.
Oh, okay.
I looked through it and I couldn't figure out what it's responding to specifically.
Maybe we can take some time and look at it tomorrow and try to line those up better.
So I'm not sure. Maybe it's the different plaintiffs. But it's 10 plaintiffs, right? Maybe it's the.
I think it's 9.
Or is it 9? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, but anyway, so that's the heart of the argument.
It's going to bug me if I don't know.
I think what we're looking at as far as their defense here is going to be, I think, my opinion is that the stronger defense is going to be that free speech, the anti-slap, and that the possible harm that some of the injunction could cause the defendant. Because if they're like pulling videos down and such like that might be the argument they're making.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and of course there's the other items here about jurisdiction, an unverified complaint. I don't know legally what that means. Do you all know what that means?
What
unverified complaint?
Number 4 is the plaintiffs have filed an unverified complaint. I don't know what that technically means.
An unverified complaint.
Yeah, I don't know, but do they just mean it's just not valid? Like, is that an opinion kind of, or is that a legal term? Well, and then they just say things like there is no irreparable harm to the plaintiffs. That'll be up to the judge, and that'll be a big part of it too. Is if the judge feels like the damages are significant enough to them to get the relief.
Mm-hmm.
So, really, I know that it's interesting. I think it's interesting discussion. Hopefully people can do them civilly and not get too heated and angry about it. It is all interesting, just kind of legally. But really what this will boil down to is the judge.
Yeah.
It'll come down to the judge, and it'll come down to the persuasive arguments and what kind of evidence they have and who's got the great attorneys and not,
And I believe those attorneys are really good attorneys. I've heard of them.
You mean the King, Thomas King?
Yes, her attorneys are. I've heard of their names.
Okay, yeah,
So
I hadn't.
They've got a very good reputation.
Okay, great.
It'll be interesting to watch how everything plays out.
Yeah, so I guess from here, with all this, I don't know what happens next. Supposedly they have 20 days to respond. I don't know if in the meantime, if the other 46 or so people end up being subpoenaed like in the next few weeks, if that's how they do it, then does it get pushed back into January or whatever? I don't know. It'd be very interesting.
That's a good point. WSU Mom says unverified likely refers to witness testimony that is validated. That's interesting.
That's good to know.
I mean, it's a good thought. It may not be accurate.
Yeah.
It's just a good thought. That's a good idea.
It makes sense.
Yeah. You are camera still off. Do you want it that way?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, we've been seeing your silhouette there, or the
Oh,
girl.
sorry.
Um,
I don't know. Yeah. So
it'll be interesting to watch how everything plays out.
And all of these defendants can also file, against this as well. Any defendant that chooses to can do the same thing.
Oh, like their response, like this.
The responses, they can all file responses to the allegations. I mean, they may or may not, but it is the right to do that. Of course, it's part of the.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how.
Yeah.
I guess it's yeah. So I don't know if as Granny does she have an attorney yet? I have not heard this. Do we know?
Didn't she just get served very recently?
It was on Friday, I believe.
So she may not have had time to get all that together yet.
Yeah. One thing I wonder too is like, just strategy wise, is it a good idea to share attorneys? Do you think, or is it better to have your own? Just as far as strategy,
I think it's better for your own personal representation to have your own, but you could group together if the charges were very similar. They probably could do that. I've seen cases where they did have the same attorney, but I've seen in murder cases. I'm sorry, not.
It's all right. It's all right. We've already been saying it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Fine.
But those kind of cases where you have two defendants and they each have their own, even if they, are, it's the same. They committed the crime together. So I've seen that, and I've also seen them have the same one.
I guess the tough thing would be conflict of interest a little bit, like.
Right.
If you had a defendant wanting to make a deal and the other one didn't or something, and then you'd almost be working your defendants against each other potentially. So unless they were really like, in it together.
I think Barbecue's confused. She says these aren't charges. It's not criminal. We know that they're allegations. It's a civil suit. Yes.
Yeah. You got to forgive our lack of legal
lingo.
So
yes.
I'm sure we've said things the incorrect technical way a number of times, but yeah, we mean allegations at this point. So definitely not charges. Nothing criminal has happened at this point. It's just a possibility that it could go that way later on. So since this is a question we get so much, and we're kind of we'll probably go here in about 10 or 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
sure.
Kind of answer questions if we can.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. Just Jen, do you think this could deter creator collabs going forward? Man, maybe actually.
I think that's a great question, because it opens up a whole can of worms. You don't know who could be implicated on an innocent program, and it go crazy and it go in a direction that you didn't want it to go in, and you're part of it. I think it could definitely set some precedents for futures.
I will say that we're careful. We're very careful about that in general. And we've actually talked to some creators recently that we're going to be doing some stuff with, and we've checked them out thoroughly. So,
but like, that's why the panel shows to me are risky.
Yeah.
Just like, because you have 4 or 5 people up there, anybody could say anything. And it's your, how's the law viewing that? It's your show.
Well,
you've got a person there that says something.
Well, what about
crazy.
The other people on panel? Are they implicated?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the legal responsibility is on that. So we are cautious on.
Oh, and War Eagle says that's a good point. This case might set a precedent. Exactly. It could set a precedent for things going forward for sure.
And I think in the YouTube world, there needs to be some guidelines about what people are allowed to do, and
I think in general, I mean, we've seen
freedom of speech is a wonderful thing, and but it also, there should be limits on what you can do and say, to a degree, if it's defamatory. So I think there needs to be some protocol or guidelines for all internet usage for like podcasts, and I mean that's my opinion, but I think it's gotten out of hand.
Well, that's what I was going to say is we've seen a lot of ugly things on, X and different places since the election. We've seen just a lot of ugly stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Clutch the Pearl says, invite only, LOL. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you scare me with your phone ins. I have to be honest. I get worried about you.
I worry about people that take phone ins because you're just like, it's scary.
Or Dolly for that. I don't know how Dolly he gets very lucky. He very rarely has somebody on there that says anything too outlandish.
Yeah. We originally, when we first started doing this, I think we were thinking of doing a phone call-in thing. And then we kind of started, people warned us and kind of said, "Ooh, you got to be careful about that because it can get kind of wild and out of control." And so we just,
exactly.
So
well, that's a good point, Matt. The Hatter's Madness says YouTube needs to enforce their TOS, period. And
absolutely.
if that were I agree with you 100%. I think that would stop a lot of problems.
And terms of service are clear too, and people break them all the time, and they do nothing.
Well, right. Trump is saying that they're going to repeal this Rule 230, which has been protecting all these social media platforms from financial liability. So they haven't been responsible for lawsuits that happen on any platform, Facebook or whatever. And Trump's wanting to do away with it. So I would assume that'll happen. If that happens, that might be a game changer for YouTube, because then if they're financially on the hook for things that happen on their platform, then
things will change.
Might motivate them to better police and get rid of.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've seen the crazy stuff that's happened that shouldn't happen.
And I mean, it's not just in true crime. There's stuff everywhere. That's just, it's mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Way beyond. I mean, way beyond. Yeah. Not even just here. Not even talking here. Just because we follow a lot of the political world stuff too. And we were talking about that today with a particular. I don't want to mention them, but we were talking about a particular political person today, and I was like, "Wow, this is kind of similar to what's going on."
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
And,
Lady for Justice says, Mr. and Mrs. Z, I can always help explain the legal stuff. Love my job, paralegal.
Right. You have helped us out a few times over the last few months, so we do appreciate it.
We appreciate your help.
If you have any thoughts about any of what we just read with Barbecue's defense, because that's all new to everyone, I believe here. That'd be great. Because there are a few of these I don't really.
Somebody asked who Bruce Castor is.
Bruce Castor is Dog's main attorney, as far as I understand, right?
He's
his lead attorney.
Yeah, he's been an attorney for Dog, and he's most famous for representing Trump in one of the impeachment trials, probably. And I think he was attorney general for Pennsylvania, or is that right?
BBQ says that there are more filings. We're just probably not able to see them. So, okay. And then our wonderful lady Tit for Tat says, can YouTube be sued over this for allowing this behavior? Can YouTube in turn sue the defendants? That's a great question too. If this law,
yeah,
right?
I was just hearing this yesterday, I think, because Trump's been doing these like 3-minute videos about different policies he's going to do. That was one of them, was about that Rule 230, which has been if you follow politics at all, that Rule 230 has been very controversial for a long time. And people have been wanting to do away with it. The politicians have kept it in place. But it will be good for all of us if that, I think, if that Rule 230 is gone, because it's protected them from child crimes,
right,
and things of that nature
that have gone
that they
on.
have allowed to happen.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying, so I think it's a positive if that occurs.
And Cheryl says, hang on, I tried to show
And
it.
thank you for your super chat, Lady Tit for Tat. We appreciate you.
Cheryl says, I appreciate BBQ sharing her information. Appreciate the channel for sharing it with its viewers. Well, we try very hard to be balanced and not just tell you one side or the other, but to try to, let you know this is the information that's out there.
Right. And Clutch and Pearl says Rule 230 needs to go stat, in my opinion. I agree with you. Yeah.
Once you look, if you don't know about it, once you look into that, you'll probably most people I think will feel the same way. It protects the big corporations. And it's a protection normal people don't get.
Well, whoops, wrong person. I was trying to. CJ had made a great point.
CJ says it's simple. If you do the right thing and go about it the right way, you never have to worry about any of this stuff in the first place. That's the truth too. But laws are there because people sometimes just don't have great judgment, and we've all seen things that people have done.
Yeah.
Some people need those barriers to keep them in line because they don't have the judgment themselves to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm. And some people do want to push it up to the line too.
And people do that too.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, Gracie says Rule 230 was invented prior to the internet.
Oh, is that right?
I have no idea. I haven't looked into it enough. I knew kind of what it entailed.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I first started hearing about it 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't know it'd been around that long.
Auntie's going to find out. I can tell you right now. Was it used to
protect television, like networks and such, I guess? Maybe that was the
Sorry, my husband's sending me stuff on my phone, like urgent things as to who's getting assigned to what positions in the government. And so,
well, why don't you update us? Give us an update.
Is any of it true crime related?
Pete Hegseth was just named Secretary of Defense. That's a big one.
Is that how you say his last name?
Hegseth. Yes.
I think he lives here in Nashville.
Does he really?
I think so.
Yes, Pete Hegseth lives in Nashville. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And also John Ratcliffe is the director of the CIA.
Yeah, so I figured he'd be in one of
those. Oh, I thought they were suspecting that Kash Patel would be.
I heard that too, and I guess that's changed. So,
Yeah, Ratcliffe's good with the intelligence stuff.
Yeah, so that was the two this afternoon that were biggies, and he's like, he tried to call me, and I said, I can't, we're live, and he said he sent it, and he's a big Pete Hegseth fan. So.
And Barbecue says, y'all have a good evening. Thanks to the ones who were respectful to me. Thank you for coming in, and we appreciate you letting us read your documents and discussing them. And I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit more about all of it in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, and another big one with Mike Huckabee is going to be the liaison to Israel. Yes.
Oh, does that mean his show will go away?
Ambassador?
No, I don't think so. Ambassador to Israel. Yes.
Oh, those are the jobs everybody wants. Everybody wants those ambassador jobs, right?
Yeah, I love Kash Patel, Eileen. I think he's great.
Yeah, I'm a big Kash fan too.
Yeah, and Mike Huckabee's show is here in Sumner County too.
Did you guys know that? You can actually go watch a free Mike Huckabee show in Sumner County.
They're always
I'm going to do that one of these days when I'm down visiting.
We always see it on Facebook because they're always begging for people to come to the audience because they film all the time. So people, once you've done it, But yes, if you ever want to just see a live taping, Mike Huckabee's they've always got seats because they're always reaching out trying to get people.
Right.
I'm sure it's a great show. I've seen a few episodes, but he's a good guy. I'm a big Sarah Huckabee fan.
Yeah. I just there's just a few things I like. So let's see. Oh, Graham's making a funny. We shouldn't get into all that, but those are some interesting things.
Lisa said, I like the lady who will be over Homeland Security. Yes, Kristi Noem is one of my favorite leaders. She's great. So yes, that's a great pick. She'll do an amazing job.
Good Measures is okay. I thought Rubio was. I don't know what Rubio's doing. RFK Jr. is going to be. What is the actual title, Aunt E?
He's going to be over like the FDA and the health
Is it is it a secretary
Secretary
or
of-
RFK?
Oh, I don't think this has been named, has it?
Well, he named
RFK
he named
Jr.
it yeah, he named it during the campaign what his position would be.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was. I mean, I knew he's going to be doing health something, but I didn't know if it was specifically named yet.
Right.
Yeah. I have to look it up. I know he's going to be over the Food and Drug Administration.
I agree with Tit for Tat. I'm very interested to see what he does. He's I've always been a fan of him too. I think he's a great guy.
Who?
RFK.
Yeah, RFK.
Oh yeah.
I mean, on the health stuff.
Absolutely. He's right on track.
If there's something I'm excited about, that's near the top of my list is our health and medicine. It's
Right.
It's outrageous. The poison in our food is just outrageous.
Uh-oh. Better be careful. That might be in the TOS.
It might be. I mean, no, all the food's great. It's all healthy. Nothing added that hurts us.
All right. Well, I think we probably. Oh, Surgeon General. Is that what it is?
No,
I don't think so.
I do know that the Surgeon General for Florida, he is one of the contenders for the United States Surgeon General. I know he's one of the ones that they're considering, and I'm trying to look up.
Well, I just kind of want to, in summary, a little bit of just kind of what we've done tonight, in case people are joining late. If you want to go back and watch, we always try to do our lives where they're watchable.
Mhm.
We think, like, if you're on the replay crew. So the first hour or two, I guess, was we went through the Queen Bee SF Investigates filing, and that they were added as defendants.
Mhm.
I don't know if Queen Bee has been served yet, but SF has, and that was officially on the website today. So we went ahead and did that today, and so you want to kind of go back and hear the art.
That's our son, guys.
I know some of
he's
you are
happy.
new. If you're new to us, we have a son with autism, and that's a happy sound for him. If you want
Oh, Aries.
Oh, we
Fox
forgot the plastic
contract.
pumpkins then.
Yes, I think Alina Haba would be great for
Hey,
president.
buddy, I'll do those in 10 minutes. Okay. Can I come do those in about 10 minutes?
Okay. We have to have all the Halloween put away, and he buys about how many pumpkins do you think he has plastic, like the old fashioned round plastic pumpkin buckets?
30?
We probably have 50.
50?
We get new ones every season.
We have 3 full, like, garbage, like black garbage bags of pumpkin buckets. Not kidding.
Wow.
But the ones he's talking about are like the little Dollar Tree types that
They're not Dollar Tree. Mama
some of
has
these
to.
are.
Okay, hold on. Mama
No,
has
no,
to.
you have to order the special colors.
I'm talking about the ones on the ledge.
That's the ones I'm talking about
okay.
that I have to buy off eBay because they don't make the kind that he likes anymore.
Oh, well, there's a mixture of them. They're all.
No, there's not.
None of those are the Dollar Tree?
No,
Okay.
those are all because he likes the ones that came out around 2000. Let me ask it. What year did the pumpkin buckets come out? You don't know? 2000.
Yes. Will you let me do that in about 10 minutes? 10? You can set a timer.
Can you put the plastic pumpkins away?
We can. We'll do it in just a minute.
Done.
We're almost done.
We're going to say goodbye to everybody, then I'll come do it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
From
our
the
video.
audience,
We're
our
making a
people.
video.
We're talking to some people.
It's okay. We'll be done in just a minute.
I'm actually shocked that hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
Where he hasn't wanted to come over and talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. Or no, it wasn't Michelle. It's good measure. Rubio is the Secretary of State. Thank you.
What?
Is that confirmed yet, though? Or was that a leak?
I believe
think it was a
so.
leak.
Rubio.
Yeah, I was very surprised.
When I saw it, it was a leak.
Maybe.
Okay,
I'm
well-
not sure it's confirmed.
Oh, they're all saying he's so sweet.
Oh,
He is. I think the pumpkin buckets are from 2004 to 2007 specifically.
You know what it is? This is early for him. He's usually kind of He's not usually. We don't usually air during this time.
Yes, we're usually
We usually go
eating
live.
family dinner, and he's already had his dinner and stuff. So
He's still
but-
usually kind of pretty active during this.
yeah, we usually go later than this to make
Yeah.
sure he's wound down
Oh.
enough.
I
So
don't
anyway,
know if he is or not.
Oh,
If you
Karen
would like-
says, "Tell him hi from us. He sounds like a fun kid. He is.
Oh,
He's
he's
a sweet boy.
He's in a great mood.
He just went and got our mail. Thank
Yeah.
you, buddy.
So yeah,
And they said RFK is the Director of Health and Human Services.
Yes, that sounds right. Okay, good. Awesome.
okay, good. That's great.
Real Me Too
They're
says,
gonna
I
be
met him. He's a good looking guy. Yeah, huh? You're right. Oh, right. Rubio or RFK. They're both attractive, I think.
I think she means your son.
Oh, well, he is.
Oh
He's a
yeah, I
sweetie.
guess she didn't.
Yeah,
she
she's
did.
met him.
I'm not sure if that's what she's talking about, though, because you were talking about him.
We'll pretend it was our son.
Yes.
And if it wasn't, we'll just we'll go with that. So anyway, if you are on the replay or catching us late and you want to go back and you'd like to hear, we read everything about Queen Bee and SF Investigates. If you want to hear why they are being included, it's not their argument. This is the plaintiff's argument. And then today also, I guess there was a filing sent for on behalf of Barbecue Lady and from her attorneys. And we went through there's kind of 14 primary arguments that they're saying was why they're denying and basically disagreeing with the allegations, and what their defense is going to be. So everything from First Amendment to anti-SLAPP rules, laws, and just no merit is part of the claim too. So anyway, that's anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in.
Everybody's wanting me to check and make sure, but I don't think we hit
1,000.
I don't think we did. Every time I do that, it starts playing it. So you'll have to, let's see. No, we're only at 8:16. Sorry, guys.
That's so close.
That's so close.
So close, yet
But
so
not-
far away.
And I have to go.
And he
actually.
does have to go. Yes.
I've got pumpkin buckets or pumpkins to bag up. So
all right. Well, thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for our new members and our super chats. We appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming by, and thank you to the new mod Aria.
Yes.
Aria. And,
Aria is
Lady Tip
834.
for Tat and K-Mac and Real Me Too and everybody that's helped us
Misty
out.
was here.
earlier.
Marlena was here. All the friends.
Yeah.
So, and we appreciate all the creators that came in and were respectful in chat. And we appreciate all of our subscribers and all of our chat members. So we hope you had a good time. And we are thinking about going live again tomorrow night.
Yeah, we might go tomorrow night. I've kind of got some thoughts on a way to kind of discuss Sebastian in a different way. Possibly. We'll kind of talk about that. So kind of put the Rico stuff aside and kind of do a more Sebastian centric live possibly tomorrow night.
That sounds great. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to get everything ready so that we can do the end. And again, guys, we appreciate you. And let's see. I'm almost there.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you. We're holding on to hope for you. We remember you. We remember